And we're underway. To Mark Taylor. Mark Taylor plays it away on the onside. No run there. So we're underway here.
Come on, Martin.
Edward Adumbe, the opening bowler for this Kenyan side. Also known as Tito.
They've got a couple of handy opening bowlers here, and I'm sure Mark and, well, both the Marks will be out there fairly cautious to start off. Our first game here at the World Cup. A lot of practice the last couple of weeks, and you know, they'll be fairly nervous out there now, looking to get off the mark as early as they can.
Mark Taylor plays it straight back down the wicket. No run there. So we're underway, Michael. 2 weeks here in the beautiful country of India, and it's great to play some cricket.
It certainly is, Tim. It's been a long 2 weeks, I have to say that, but it's been an enjoyable one. I've looked at the training sessions as being a positive thing. I mean, the fact that we're here for 2 weeks before our first game could have been a negative thing if we'd let the ball just roll along and not really get stuck into our practice, but facilities have been good. We had a couple of sessions in Calcutta, some really good quality sessions in Bombay. Next ball coming in.
And Mark Taylor just lets it go through to the wicket keeper. Well, the Kenyan side have performed quite strongly against the Indians, and they deserve their place here in the World Cup.
They've got a very good honest side, and they're here to compete. They've said that in the press. And I mean, the thing is with a side like Kenya is they're over here, they're playing in front of great crowds, huge crowds, very noisy crowds, and they're not used to that. So, I mean, a lot of the time they're playing on their sheer emotion. And, you know, I know when I first came into the Australian side, that can carry you through, and you can come up with some amazing performances when you're just going on pure adrenaline and emotion.
Edward Adumbe, and that's the first runs of the match. Mark Taylor plays it down on the leg side behind square, and you'll get 2 runs. So Australia, no wicket for 2 in the first over. Edward Adumbe bowling quite well and quite straight to start off the attack for the Kenyan team.
It'll be interesting to see whether the ball deviates too much on the wicket. There's a little bit of grass cover out there, but it is fairly firm underneath. I have a feeling it'll play fairly slow, and later in the innings you might see a few lofted shots, but all in all I think it's going to be a very good cricket wicket, and you should see a fairly big total here from the Australian side.
Mark Taylor just plays it, parries it away on the offside. Australia remain no wicket for 2 in the first over.
But getting back to our training schedule, we spent a quality 3 or 4 days in Bombay, the Gymkhana club there, who looked after us extremely well. And then we got to Vizag 2 days ago, and the practice here has been outstanding also. Now, the wickets they're prepared for us, and, you know, the outfields over here are quite a bit bumpier than we're used to back home. So, you know, we've concentrated hard on our fielding, and I think that's going to be the edge when it comes down to winning the World Cup.
It's no wicket for 2.
Ottmar Liebert. His brand new studio album Opium is an entrancing blend of world music, ambiance and flamenco blues. "32 arousing tracks on this limited edition, specially priced double album. Ottmar Liebert, Opium.
Right arm over.
And Australia, no wicket for 2 after 1 over. And Michael Slater, you look at that batting lineup of Australia, who do you think is going to be most suited to these conditions?
Well, I think watching the guys in the nets, everyone is in outstanding form, hitting the ball very cleanly. But, I mean, Steve Waugh is hitting the ball extremely well. His confidence is sky high. He knows his game so well these days. So I really think Steve's going to come into his own during the World Cup. I know he's determined to have a big World Cup, but all of the top 6 batsmen are in really good form.
They certainly are, and of course it was a great summer back in Australia, winning the Test series against Pakistan, then against the Sri Lankans, and of course the World Series competition. Rajabali's going to open the bowling from our commentary position end here, and the Kenyans were very excited last night about playing against Australia, Michael.
Yeah, well, it's always nice to hear, you know, sides are excited to play against you, and You know, we've been playing some terrific cricket over the last few years, and you know, we're, I suppose, regarded as a force in world cricket. And you know, to take on Kenya, we're excited about taking them on. We've never played against them before, and they've got a few very exciting players. And as I said, they're out there trying. So I mean, we can't afford to rest on our laurels today. But I'm sure it's going to be a really good game. It's going to be played in the right spirit, and you know, we were looking forward to it also.
First ball to Mark Waugh, and he plays it down through third man. You'll get a single. So Australia no wicket for 3 in the second over. Well, the hospitality of the Indian people since we've arrived in the country, just absolutely remarkable. It's been fantastic.
It certainly is an amazing country. It's just wherever you go, it's just so different to what we're used to in Australia. Just the conditions, the countryside is different, just the way they live. And it's amazing how quickly you adapt to another country's conditions and get used to the sights and all that sort of thing, and getting amongst the culture. And the Indian people are really friendly and are doing everything to look after us.
Rajabali bowls that one on the leg stump of Mark Taylor, plays it away through mid-wicket, and they get 1 run. So no wicket for 4, Australia.
Just tending to slide into Mark's leg stump here at the moment, and he's picking off the singles quite easily on the onside. There you see the ball starting outside leg stump and just swinging back slightly through the air, but remaining on leg stump, which allowed Mark to clip it easily off his legs for that single.
Rajabali, Mark Waugh plays it off on the leg side, but there's no single there, and you certainly don't want to bowl on the pads to either of these batsmen.
Not at all. They're both very strong there, and I think you can see the importance, or the why having a left-right combination is good. Like he bowled a ball to Mark on his leg stump, and then he bowled what would have been a very good line to the left-hander. However, it slid into Mark's leg stump, so it can really put the bowlers off, and you can get a few freebies by having the left-right combination.
Rajabali again on the off stump. They both got on line very quickly, these two bowlers, and there's no run there. A steady start for the Australians. Mark Waugh, what a career it's been. And looking at his World Cup statistics, he's got an average of 36.5, 150 in there. But of course, we expect big things from him in the Wills World Cup of '96. On line again, Mark Waugh just plays it away to mid-on. No single there. As an opener in one-day cricket, Mark Waugh's only played the 10 matches, but look at that average. An average of 58, 4 50s, 2 centuries. So he really has shone since opening the batting for Australia.
I didn't want to see that, Tim.
I didn't want to say it. There it is. Mark Waugh plays it away on the onside. There's a single. Australia, no wicket for 5.
Sky.
Blue.
Work.
Busy.
Money.
Ostriches.
Ostriches?
Walco.
No, I mean, why do you associate ostriches with money?
Head in the sand.
Head?
Yours.
Ah.
You can associate money with ostriches by phoning Walco now. All you have to do is make money. Walco does all the rest.
Money.
Ostriches?
Very wise.
Australia, no wicket for 5 in this Group A match with Kenya here in Visakhapatnam, and the crowd continues to come in. They've worked feverishly to get this ground into the condition it's in, and it really is a great place to play cricket. Let's look at the umpires for this match. David Shepherd of England, Cyril Mitchley of South Africa. And Michael, no doubt you've played underneath both those umpires.
Yeah, a couple of test matches each for both these umpires, and they really are great characters of the game. Dave Shepherd, a lovely guy, and Cyril Mitchley from South Africa. They're the sort of guys you can stand out there in the field, and if you know, you haven't got a wicket for a while, or you just want to have a general chat when you're out there, they're great to have a conversation too, and they've got a lot of great stories to tell you, and it's really good when you play a game of cricket and you communicate with the umpires and get on very well with them.
And of course the third umpire, Shakil Khan from Pakistan. And Mark Waugh plays that delivery from Edward Adombe behind leg again. That's a second. No wicket for 6. Of course, that's Martin Suja. We spoke to Martin last night, and he was very keen to play against the Australians. Physically excited. I was just chatting with him over the buffet at the hotel, and he seemed to be getting it online quite well, Mike.
Yeah, well, obviously it was the night before the big game for him, and he's out here. He'll be nervous to be running in, just trying to put the ball on the spot at the moment. At the moment, the singles are coming freely for Australia, so taking the pressure off, but he's hit a pretty good line.
And that ball, it's short. Mark Taylor just plays it away on the offside. There's no run there. Australia no wicket for 6.
I'm pretty sure both sides were tense before this first match. I mean, I know we were last night. We've been talking about it for the last 2 weeks, getting ourselves ready. This is our first game after missing out on the game in Colombo against Sri Lanka. So we're looking to get off to a good, quick start and really get our momentum going from our first match. And, you know, you've got to get it right straight away in a tournament such as the World Cup, and hopefully you'll carry it through to the finals.
There's Martin Suji on the off stump. Mark Taylor plays it away to the cover region. There's no run there. Certainly a different ground to what you'd be used to back home in Australia.
Well, I suppose when you're talking Australian conditions, the grounds in general are a lot bigger. The outfield is the grass is a lot thicker, a lot lusher, a lot easier to dive on, and not as quick as the outfields here.
Martin Suji tied again on the off stump. Mark Taylor pushes forward, no run.
Then the crowd comes into play. They really are fanatical cricket supporters over here, make a lot of noise. So do the crowds in Australia, but there is a slight difference. But I think just the actual playing arena with the outfields being quite bumpy, fielding, you know, through the practice we've done a lot of fielding practice under the guidance of Simo, and it was just a case that we decided you've got to attack the ball, you've got to make the bounce come to you, and if you miss it, well, so be it, but you've got to be going at the ball, and you'll pick it up 9 times out of 10 that way.
And Mark Taylor, the great running between the wickets, plays that on the leg side, and they get the single. Australia no wicket for 7. Failed to mention earlier that Clive Lloyd, the great West Indian captain, is the match referee here for this Group A match.
Another single to Mark there on the onside.
Yeah, that's one of the trademarks of the Australian side, the running between the wickets, and no doubt the practice is just intense in that area.
It is. Well, it's just so important when you're out there that if you're not scoring playing the big shots, scoring the boundaries, the 2s and 3s, that you're dropping the single. One-day cricket's all about getting off strike and keeping the ball rotating.
It goes through to the wicket-keeper. Australia, no wicket for 7.
It's been described as exciting, breathtaking, awesome, amazing, sensational, and spectacular. It's the Great Moscow Circus, now at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. The very best in family entertainment. Don't miss the final 3 shows, this Friday at 7:30 p.m. and Saturday at 1 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. Get your tickets right now at any Ticket World outlet. The amazing Moscow Circus must finish this Saturday. It's just too good to miss.
No wicket for 7, the Australian team after 3 overs. Mark Taylor 4, Mark Waugh is 3. That's after Morris Adumbi won the toss and elected to bowl.
And Ali generally taking the ball away from Mark Taylor here. You see that one going with the swing as well, decking away from him as well, and he had to play a little bit away from his body at the end there.
Yeah, certainly isn't a flying start for the Australians. No wicket for 7 in the 4th over, but admittedly the Australian team hasn't played cricket for quite some time.
Yeah, well, they haven't bowled too many real loose balls, so I'm pretty sure Mark will be sweating on one, but at the moment, you know, we're ticking it over with singles.
He tries to pull that one away on the onside. No joy. It's the inside edge onto the pad that parries away onto the offside.
And it's always a good sign to see Mark pulling early if he's looking for that pull shot. It means to me he's in pretty good touch, and he missed that one, but he's been pulling well all summer, and it scored him a lot of runs.
Well, of course, the practice match at the delightful Gymkhana Club in Bombay, Mark Taylor was in great form before he went for 22. Taylor just plays that away on the offside, no run, and no wicket for 7 in the 4th over.
That one seaming away a little bit as well. But hitting it into the covers this time instead of trying to play it to the onside.
So Rajabali online quite early, and the Kenyans just proving why they deserve to be in this World's World Cup after a great performance in the ICC Trophy. There, the ball on the offside. Mark Taylor pulls up on him a little.
Nice and tidy, Raji.
Yeah, this one just holding off the up off the pitch and also decking away again. He's certainly got the seam up here. A little bit of a way swing from Mark Taylor and hitting the seam consistently, therefore taking away further slips. Mark will have to be careful here not to get playing too far away from his body.
Rajabali. Mark Taylor lets that one go through to the keeper. Well, one thing about the weather conditions, they're very similar to Australia, quite warm and reasonably humid here.
Well, this morning I felt it was quite mild, but as the day goes on, it really does get a little bit sticky, and come lunchtime, it should be fairly warm out there in the middle.
Mark Taylor plays that away on the leg side, and will pick up 2 runs. Australia, no wicket for 9.
With the Nationals and Liberals in power again, Mrs Sheldon's controlling Queensland's finances. So, now's not the time to put Australia in the hands of Mr Howard's team. Alexander Downer representing Australia overseas, Bronwyn Bishop selling off Telstra, Deputy Prime Minister Tim Fischer. With the Nationals and Liberals back in Queensland, be careful with your vote on March 2. Authorised Barry Jones for the ALP Brisbane.
And Australia no wicket for 9 after 4 overs. And joining Michael Slater in the commentary position, Tony Greig.
Thank you very much. Very good to be here, I can tell you. It's been a pretty long trip, 34 hours in all from Gwalior.
Look a little weary, Tony.
Feeling as fit as a fiddle.
It's good to hear.
It looks a lovely ground, and the conditions out there look pretty good too. And I read a report in the paper this morning that the Aussie captain was very happy with the outfield. And I assume, Michael, the same applies to the pitch out there.
No, it is a very good wicket. It's got a nice even cover of grass, not too much, but it's firm underneath. It's playing a little slow, a little bit of seam early on, but all in all, very good conditions out there. Outfield a little bit bumpy, but you know, it's a great ground. If you look in the background with the mountains and what have you, it's a really picturesque ground.
So what do you reckon? What will you be happy with today? 260, 270?
Yeah, I think that's the total we're sort of aiming at this stage. I really think, looking at the way the wickets are played so far in the competition and what's required here, we look at the wicket. You can see it, not too much grass. It's a nice even grass cover, very flat, very even wicket. And as I say, very firm underneath also. So the ball will come through pretty well with the new ball as it gets older. Should start to just slow up a little bit, and batsmen will have to check themselves and maybe take the option of hitting over the infield, hitting over the top.
So Martin Suji bowling his seamers.
There's been some big totals so far, Tony, and I think, you know, to be competitive in the World Cup, the batting side on a condition such as this have got to be looking for 260 plus, and then have got to field extremely well.
Yes, there's no doubt that run rate could well come into the calculations as to where sides play. I don't think there's going to be much debate about who gets into the quarterfinals. That's pretty well a fait accompli, but the all-important thing is who do the sides play. Obviously, if you're first in one group, you pay the side that came last in the next. In the air, and that's him. Caught it extra cover. Mark Taylor out. Well, that one seemed to just stop a little bit. Taylor getting just a little frustrated there. Tried to force that one off the back foot, and all he did was spoon it up to extra cover. So, Martin Suji has struck, and the Australian captain is out.
You see the replay here. He was trying to force that one off the back foot, and it did hold up off the pitch. and only managed to hit it in the air to cover. And it was a good catch, taken low. But there haven't been too many big shots played this morning. Mark was trying to seize the opportunity of a short ball, but it did hold up.
So Modi the catcher and Mark Taylor out. 6 from 20 on Australia, 10 for 1.
Mobile net, digital, mobile net, digital.
Telstra Mobile Net Digital is the only cellular digital network that now covers almost as many Australians as the entire analogue network. That's an incredible 90% of the Australian population, which means Mobile Net Digital works. In a lot of places, the others won't.
Digital, mobile net,
Mobile Net Digital, further and further and further in front.
Between a relentless cop, a ruthless thief, and his reckless partner, obsession knows no limits. You are going down. Academy Award winner Al Pacino, Academy Award winner Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, Heat.
Promising young player, Ricky Ponting, in at number 3 for Australia. And that one just moving away a little bit. Well left by Ricky Ponting. Martin Suji, the man. Ponting, 17 matches in all, an average of 33. It's not a bad start for him.
Ponch has been looking in really good nick in the nets over the last couple of weeks, and he'll be looking to start his encounter with a big score.
Here's Ricky Ponting, has got a strike rate of 71.8, and this is a replay of that dismissal. It looks a pretty slow pitch, easily taken by Modi. This is the last ball of the over. Bang on target. That's well bowled. So Martin Suji getting the breakthrough here for the Kenyans. It's 10 for 1. So there it is, 10 for 1. Mark Taylor, the man out, caught in the covers, trying to force the pace just a little bit on a slow pitch. And he was out for 6. Mark Waugh is on 4. Ricky Ponting has joined him. That's the Australian lineup. A cautious start here by the Australians. It looks as if this pitch is going to be one of those that's just a little bit difficult to play shots on.
The thing if it's slow now with the new ball, how slow is it going to get later on? It might be tough to play a little later.
That's nicely played. Anything on leg stump to Mark Waugh is going to be dispatched quite comfortably. Well, let's have another look at the wicket here of Martin Suji. The catch was made by Hatish Modi at extra cover.
Here we see Mark rocking onto the back foot, slow off the wicket, and might have got a little bit of extra bounce and surprised him, and it hit very high in the bat, straight to cover, and a good catch was taken. Very excited about that indeed. Here's Ponce getting ready for his first delivery against Suji. Sorry, Ali.
Yes, well, that's tidily bowled. They've got quite a tidy field out there too. Just looking at the offside field, there's a slip and a very square gully because it is a slow pitch. And then the 3 men saving one in a straight line on the offside. So anything driven in the air there has got a chance of going to the fielder. On the onside, the mid-on is quite straight. There's a bit of a gap at mid-wicket, but right alongside the umpire, they've got a square leg fieldsman. And, of course, the standard fine leg and third man. 11 for 1 at the moment. Ricky Ponting on strike. This is Rajab Ali. Well bowled. That nipped back a long way. That was very close to off stump. And Michael Slater was just talking about those little nip-back balls. Yes, he'll have to be careful. I think he'll take note of that. It won't happen again.
That's right. He was bowling very well to Mark Taylor like that, taking the ball away from Mark's bat, but now bowling to the right-hander. He's bringing it in, and he brought that one into off stump beautifully. and in fact it nearly clipped the top of off stump.
That's very well bowled. Again, just a little wider that time. This pitch in Visakhapatnam in the state of Andhra Pradesh looks a slow one.
I prefer just to say Vizag, Tony. I find it a lot easier. I don't know if that's correct, but...
No, stick with that. That's it.
I've heard a few locals say it that way, so I'm going to stick with that one.
Yes, it's a commercial and industrial centre right here in the heart of Andhra Pradesh. Played to mid on that one. Yes, it's also isolated up in the northeast of the state, so apparently a real go-ahead place, a city of the future. And that is an example of some of the activity around here. It's a steel plant. Apparently, because of its position across on the east coast, almost exactly opposite to Bombay, it's got a port here, so it's going to develop very quickly.
You see first slip now coming into a short mid-wicket. Obviously with the ball moving in, feels that Ricky might hit one through there in the air, and he's there for the catch if it comes.
That's very wide. He'll have to re-bowl that one. Yes, that's the problem with the ball when it's doing a fair bit. The bowlers very often have to allow for that, and if it doesn't happen, of course, in these matches, the umpires are quite severe on wide bowling.
There's certainly not a huge margin for error in terms of wides being called, especially down the leg side. Last ball of the over now.
Yes, that's better, right at the line. Very watchful on that occasion, Ricky Ponting. It's 12 for 1.
If ever there was a big reason to go cordless, this is it. Black & Decker's powerful new cordless, the 12-volt Patriot. It's big on features like a keyless chuck. Tackles the big jobs with 12-volt power. And at the big workshop sale, you'll find it's right on the money. And while you're at it, clean up with the one and only classic Dustbuster. Don't miss the big workshop sale from Black & Decker. Someone's thinking.
Firmly and nicely fielded. David Tokolo, the fieldsman. Pretty energetic and enthusiastic, these guys. That was bouncing all over the place, and he did well to get all his body behind it.
I think that's a perfect example of how to field on these sort of outfields, especially when it's bouncing in front of you. You need your whole body behind it because it can take some awful kicks and bounces right in front of you. And if you're not committed like that, there's every chance it'll go through your legs or you'll miss it. And with the pace of the outfield, it'll run away for 4.
That's better placement. He's got that through the gap on the offside. That's the sort of shot we've come to know from Mark Waugh over the years. Beautiful placement, and notice how that ball really did run away quite quickly once it got through the infield. So it's quite a firm outfield once you can get it away.
Well, Mark's an excellent time with the ball, but if you look here, he hasn't really tried to hit that at all, but he just got it into the gap, and the pace of the outfield did the rest. It just raced away. It looked for a second there that the fieldsman was going to get there, but it just it accelerated the longer it was out there. So that's the first real aggressive shot we've seen this morning, and I'm sure that'll give Mark a whole lot of confidence.
2 boundaries so far in this Australian innings. Well, plenty of support all around this country for the various sides. Looks to me as if there's an Australian group here as well.
There's a few Aussies over there, definitely. I think, yeah, there's the Aussie flag. Good to see them here.
It's nicely placed. Again, comfortable single.
It's amazing that you can travel to any part of the world and you'll come across a few Aussie supporters. They'll have their flags waving. You look over into the crowd and see them, and it really does perk you up and make you... You just think of home, and the fact that a lot of people at home are watching you playing now and really does give you that spirit to, here they are waving madly now, they know they're on TV.
warm here as well in Faizak. He's going on target. He's not doing a bad job.
Bowling very consistently here. Not giving our batsmen too much to hit at. Ricky being very watchful at this stage in his innings. He's looking to get his eye in, get the pace of the wicket, and just work the ball into the gaps at this early stage of his innings.
It's the world's photographic press here. Oh, and that's a nick back inside. Past the keeper for 4. That's a little lucky. I think he was after the drive on the up on that occasion. Inside edge, passed off stump. 4 runs, the 3rd boundary. It's now 21 for 1.
It's happened again. It could happen to anyone. It could happen to you. This year, around 430,000 Queenslanders will need professional help from the ambulance. The frontline healthcare provided by ambulance officers can cost thousands of dollars for non-subscribers, whereas ambulance subscribers get all the care they need free.
We're going to take up hospital. Don't get caught out. Subscribe now. Phone 1-800-017-500 or join at any post office.
21 for 1. Ponting on 4. Correction. It's Ponting on 4 and War on 10. Rajab Ali to continue, and there's that little outswing of his that time. He's been angling them in, so he's got a bit of variety there.
He has. That one held its line. It's been called wide, actually, but Mark Wennett, he felt it was wide enough. It didn't come back at all and played and missed. But we've been granted an extra ball and a bonus run. You can see there it was quite wide. As Tony was saying, with the swing, if it doesn't swing, there's a chance it'll be a wide most times.
Yes, so Ricky Ponting, last ball, last over, was a little lucky. He went for the booming drive outside off stump.
And it was wide, fairly short. He's trying to play it on the up. Bat a long way from the body and didn't come on as he would have expected. Inside edge, beat the keeper. And a lot of times it's a pretty effective shot because it'll run away for 4 all the time, but not too convincing from Ricky's point of view.
Mark Waugh looking pretty solid out there. Well, Michael, thank you very much for helping us out this morning. Nice to see you looking so well.
Thanks, mate. I need to get in and have a shave, though, don't I? I've donned the beard while I'm over here in India, but enjoying being in India and ready to play when called on.
Thanks for coming in. We'll see you a little later on. 22 for 1. Rajib Ali continuing. That's well pitched up, and once more, Mark Waugh trying to get that through the gap, but not quite placing it. That was pretty well fielded again. These Kenyans are very enthusiastic. Good fieldsmen they are. They'll throw themselves around out there. It looks quite a lush outfield. Not too tough to dive around on. This is an example of their sort of enthusiasm. That was firmly hit, and you can see there that he was pretty outstretched. Didn't mind going down on the ground. Rajab Ali again. And way outside off stump, and I think that's fair enough too. Another wide call. It's one of the problems associated with trying to do too much with the ball. He's been swinging it in, nipping it back a little bit, and every now and again tries to bowl the one that goes the other way. And of course, you tend to lose the line a little bit, and that results in a few wides. No wicket for 10, though. An economy rate of 2.5. He'll settle for that over his career. That's nicely placed. Ricky Ponting flicking that one away on the onside. Won't get to the fence. He's got himself 2. Well, Richie Beno has moved in alongside me here in the commentary box. This looks a nice ground, Richie.
Looks good, and it sounded good from the back of the box as well. A bit of atmosphere, and nice to hear Michael Slater working away there with all the experience he's gained on the cricket show in the last year. Very good to have him in the box. Timing's not quite there at the moment, and that's understandable. A bit of a layoff from full competitive cricket. They've been playing what they regard as high-class practice matches among themselves, but it's not the same thing.
So 5 runs off this over so far. This is the last ball of the over. The crowd getting a little restless there. They want some 6s and 4s. They always do in India. And that's out. He's got him caught behind. This is good bowling. Rajab Ali. He's moved him around a little bit. That one just went the other way a bit. And that's the end of Ricky Ponting. What a good start this is for the Kenyans.
Now there's a problem for Australia. 26 for 2. That was a good delivery. Just left him a fraction, a very thick edge, and a good catch because he had to come forward a little. It wasn't just a question of going sideways. Had to come forward to take the catch. And 2 down. Mark Taylor, the skipper, and now Ricky Ponting.
Yes, so caught by the wicketkeeper there, bowled off Rajab Ali for 6 of 12 balls, 26 for 2.
Buy your new prescription glasses from Eyewear now and share a pair with a second pair free for you
or me.
Share a pair from Eyewear now.
You'll see the difference. You'll see that Eyewear now.
Where is the best place to sell your car?
In the paper?
No.
By the roadside?
No.
Take it to Zaps.
That's right. Zaps have buying centres at Mount Gravatt, Aspley, Maruka and the Gold Coast, waiting to buy your car.
It's Big John.
Martin Suji continuing. What a good start this is for the Kenyans. Won the toss. They've put the Australians into bat. And some good bowling there from Rajab Ali. He'd been swinging the ball in a little bit, and I think that's really what caused this forward defensive or push. Expecting the ball to come in a bit, it just fractionally moved out. And, of course, that was the end of that. And have a look at Kennedy Otieno. The keeper there, he really was over the moon. It only just got to him. He caught it inches above the ground. That's him.
Kenya might have come into this World Cup competition on the bootstraps of the associate countries, but Kennedy Otieno there has taken a catch of which Ian Healy and plenty of other keepers would be very, very proud.
Kennedy Otieno preferred to Tariq Iqbal in that keeping position. And that was a wide ball, trying to flay that through the offside field again. The new batsman is Steve Waugh. He's been having a great time of it with the bat. So he's out there with his brother. That's his record. Have a look at that. An average of 30. Lots and lots of experience.
Well, these two will need to put all that experience to good effect out there, because although they may not be playing what could be loosely termed one of the top teams, they've got a problem. And it needs a big partnership from the Waugh brothers.
It's just having a look at those wickets again. First of all, the Australian captain was the man to go. He was out first. This is how it happened. He was caught by Modi of the bowling of Suji. Tried to force it on the offside, stopped on him a little bit, and it just boomed up in the air to Modi. And then, of course, Ponting pushing at a wide delivery there. I think he probably was playing for the ball that angles in a little bit, which he'd been receiving from Rajab Ali. That one just kept its line, perhaps even moved out a little bit. And a big nick there, and a good catch too. Kennedy Otieno making that catch. So they're off to a good start, the Kenyans. 2 wickets down they've got. Oh, and there's another wide delivery.
There's always been likely to be a problem with no hard match practice. It shows up in that shot. That's a woofed up. Might well have got an inside edge down to fine leg or even back onto the stumps. It just needs a long partnership and a bit of use of the brain as well, which could have gone a bit rusty in the layoff of a couple of weeks.
Well, that's not a bad over so far. And another dot ball here, and he'll be very happy. In fact, the wicket make him even happier. That's well bowled. Very good over. Rajab Ali bowls a maiden, 26 for 2.
Alanis Morissette. With 2 smash hits and 6 Grammy nominations.
Interesting to see how McGrath, McDermott, Warne and Rifle go out here with a ball. Of course, they've got Steve Waugh as well and Mark Waugh. Stuart Law, plenty of bowling there. That's the great thing about this Aussie side. For me, it's the best side in this competition on paper. It's only a question of performing. So Stephen Waugh having a little look around. Make sure he's au fait with the exact position of each of the fieldsmen. Oh, and that one too. Close to off stump. It seems to me that this is one of those pitches that's a little difficult to cut on. We've already said it's slow, and already there have been a few inside edges go very close to that off stump.
Watching some of the television already in the World Cup, it's been noticeable that a lot of balls have been dragged back either onto the stumps or near to them, and that's because of the pace and lack of bounce. The batsmen have to come to terms with that pretty quickly. Maybe that there's even a touch of nerves out there for the Australians, playing their first match for a while.
A bit of pressure on them as well. Obviously getting a lot of stick out here after their decision not to go to Colombo. That'll continue for a while, but just reading the captain and his quotes this morning, they've put that into the backs of their minds. They're going forward from here. They'll be thinking about this match and this match alone. Stephen Waugh and his brother out there at the moment, 2 very experienced cricketers. He's got that one down to third man.
Well, going on what I've seen of the televised matches so far, and the one in Gwalior, where India so comprehensively defeated West Indies, it's a matter of the batsmen waiting for the ball to come to them. Both the Waughs and Ricky Ponting and Mark Taylor looked as though they were eager to get at the ball, which is a commendable thing. But on this type of pitch and on the others I've seen so far, favourable for batting, but you do need to wait for the ball to come to you. Don't be in too much of a rush.
That's nicely driven. Uppishly played though. Could be just worthwhile getting a short extra cover in. They've got one at short mid-wicket. It just seems to me that the best chance of winning this match is going to be to get a few wickets early on, especially when batsmen first come in. Watch this one. In the air it goes, around about that area. Perhaps even just a little squarer, just in case that happens from time to time, which it will. It's a slow pitch, and the Aussies at the moment going for their shots. Ooh, and that was very wide and signalled wide. It wasn't far away from the bat, mind you. Well, this is just a little surprising to me. They really are going after the wide deliveries. Perhaps they're conscious of that run rate of theirs.
Well, they shouldn't be. The run rate's not going to affect them unless they lose a match. They'll be all right from that point of view. But I'd put it down, strange as it may seem, to a little touch of nerves.
Oh, that's beautifully played and brilliantly fielded. David Tokolo's having a little chip of a time out there. That was blitzed away in his direction. Just watch this.
One of the Tokolo brothers. That's great stuff. We've seen some wonderful fielding so far in this competition, notably from the South Africans, from whom we expected. But we also saw Kenya fielding very well in their previous match.
Well bowled. That could have been out too. That one went away off the wicket. That was very unlucky. Very good over. Australia 29 for 2.
It's been described as exciting, breathtaking, awesome, amazing, sensational, and spectacular. It's the Great Moscow Circus, now at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. The very best in family entertainment. Don't miss the final 3 shows, this Friday at 7:30 p.m. and Saturday at 1 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. Get your tickets right now at any Ticket World outlet. The amazing Moscow Circus must finish this Saturday. It's just too good to miss.
So with a score on 29-2, it looks to me as if they're going to bring Thomas Adoyo into the attack. So this is the first change made by the Kenyans. Just having a little practice run. Now, the big challenge for them is for him to continue to keep it relatively quiet. They don't have to try and bowl too fast. All they've got to do is keep it there and thereabout. You can see most of these young men will be very short on experience. An economy rate which is quite high by normal standards, but then again he's only played 2 matches. And have a look at his age on the right hand side there. He's 17. He'll be buzzing, won't he? Thomas Adoyo. This is his first ball against the Aussies. And not a bad start.
Kenyans have always had quite a decent team in these competitions. I played, the last game of cricket I ever played was against a Kenyan side in Nairobi in 1979, but then it was the East African side that was going to the World Cup. It was the final trial. That's a long time ago, but they were good cricketers then, and they've kept up their standard all the way through.
They're very enthusiastic, and so are the folk here in India, especially when they come to these cricket grounds. They'll find any spot anywhere to get a look at the cricket. Now, they're outside the ground, but I tell you what, he's probably getting 500 rupees a seat up there.
Don't want anyone to start stoking the fire underneath them, but they're safe for the moment.
That is a magnificent shot. Cracking drive. This is Adoyo.
Got umpire Shepherd signalling that 4 again for us.
On the back foot there and right into the gap.
He's bowling gentle little leg cutters there, his fingers coming over the top of the ball. No great pace about it, but that's not to his detriment on a pitch like this. David Shepherd's the man on your screen. In the Australasian World Cup a few years ago, he was voted on all sides as the outstanding umpire in the competition.
Well fielded. Steve Takola that time. So Thomas Adoyo, Steve Takola, David Takola are both having a good time in the field. That one went very quickly, and he was down there waiting for it. So these stadiums are very interesting. They seem to me to build the bases of the stadiums out of concrete, and the rest is basically shade, and it's put together with bamboo and wood. And of course over the top they then put what looked like leaves of palm trees, but you can see the bamboo and wood in there over the top of the concrete stadiums. It was all brought in yesterday to provide shade for the folk here. straight to mid-off that time. Shy at the stumps, but to no avail. That's the end of the over, 33 for 2.
At last, the magic of David Copperfield is coming to Brisbane. See Copperfield elevate the art of magic to a new dimension which defies and tears logic to shreds. Witness the greatest magician of our time performing live at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre from May 9. The magic of David Copperfield is beyond imagination. Tickets on sale Monday the 26th. Book Brisbane Entertainment Centre or Ticket World, phone 13 1931.
So the War brothers out there, and we're going to see another bowling change now. Edward Odumbe is going to take over the attack. So a double change. His nickname is Tito. It'll be a nice challenge for him. He's taking over from Rajab Ali.
Well, two bowlers at the start have every reason to feel pleased with all the things they've done. Martin Suji did very well, and Rajab Ali just kept moving the ball enough to pick up the wicket of Ricky Ponting. Suji got Mark Taylor. 1 over bowled so far by the first change man, Thomas Adueo.
So, let's see what he can do. Edward Odumbe. His right arm over the wicket. Bowling to Stephen Waugh. Oh, and that's got to be close. Well, that did straighten a little bit, and I tell you, Stephen Waugh would have glanced up at the umpire. It may just have been going down the leg side, but I thought it started to straighten.
He's very wide on the return crease. Yeah, and it's missing leg stump by, well, not quite a considerable margin, but a margin.
Yes, there is the value. Those of you young bowlers watching this, you really have got to get close to the stumps. He's so wide, almost on the return crease. If you swing it out, it's really got to swing a long way to straighten down the line of the stumps.
Well, it may be that Mark Waugh will need to have a little word in the ear of his brother and just settle him down. Steve Waugh looks as though he wants to pummel everything at the moment, which can't be done on this pitch.
There's that little banana outswinger.
Thought I detected in the previous over a difference in style from Mark Waugh, who seemed to be starting to caress the ball rather than hit it. Steve is still trying to give it a belt.
No ball called. It's very grateful to Michael Slater and Tim Gilbert from TUE, and also Andrew McKinlay from the 9 News, who helped out at the start of the match. The trials and tribulations of moving around India. 34 hours, I think, it has taken us to get from Gwalior all the way over to Vizag. An interesting trip, Richie.
An adventure. All those years ago, when the first of the Bennos went to Australia, they were master mariners. Set out in the early 1800s. Don't think any of them would have plotted a course such as we took from Gwalior to Vizag, but very, very interesting. Now, when we walked in, Tim Finney and Tim Gilbert and Michael Slater were working here. I've listened to Tim Gilbert on 2UE on many occasions, and he does a very good job there on the sport. Moving from radio to television, he decided to do it out of Australia.
Yes, and what's more, in front of a huge audience. This is the last ball of Odumbe's first over. Down the leg side, little nick from the pad there, wide signal, so he'll have to re-bowl that one. It's just getting back to that trip, train trip for a start. Overnight train trip, heading off at 12 o'clock after the end of a night match. It was an interesting one, that. All the way from Gwalior up to Delhi, arriving there at 5 o'clock in the morning, dashed to the airport, onto a plane, across to Calcutta, fogged in, back to Delhi, 4-hour delay, back over to Calcutta. Interesting. That's the end of the over. 39 for 2.
Imagine living in the lucky country. But what if you knew that youth unemployment was running at 27.8%, that over 750,000 people can't get a job, that over 500,000 children are living in families with incomes below the poverty line, and that taxes are going up and up and up? And what would you think of their leader if after all this his response was, "What are people going on about?" Sorry, it's just not good enough.
Authorised by A-Rob for the Liberal Party, Canberra.
What? Got through and down to third man.
One thing of which you can be sure is that India will give a good account of themselves. They did against West Indies in the day-night match at Gwalior. And their bowlers did very well. Javagal Srinath was outstanding. Just the single there for Mark Waugh, who waited for that. Could have flailed at it, but waited for it and then gently eased it away behind point.
Thomas Adoyo again. And again, steered down to third man. That's the shot that's played so often in one-day cricket.
Yes, the Indians have a good attack led by Javagal Srinath. They have Prabhakar as well, who's an experienced player. And Anil Kumble, the leg spinner, I thought bowled very well. He'll be a real danger to all opposing batsmen.
Yes, their seam has certainly bowled very well. Great improvement in their fielding as well, the Indians, and that was led by their captain, Mohammad Azharuddin, the last match. Really did perform superbly. Took a great catch to get them going. Oh, and that beats the outside edge. There have been one or two gone past the outside edge here. Run rate at the moment 2.91. Score on 37 for 2, so they're getting it up towards 3. In fact, it's been at 3 just for a little while now. They'll be looking to increase that run rate. Down the wicket and well fielded. One-handed, no trouble at all.
I like that. That's 3 great pieces of fielding we've seen this morning. 2 good catches. Another one out at cover point, and then the bowler himself. Nothing's going to be free out there today, I can assure you.
Oh, and Steve Tokolo and Morris Odumbe can bat a bit too. There are 1 or 2 others who can give it a bit of a slog as well. So they're a pretty spirited bunch, these Kenyans. Straight to gully. There's just no doubt that this pitch takes a little bit of getting used to, a little bit of adjusting to. From up here, it looks as if there's a tinge of grass on the surface, but it's been very slow so far. By contrast, the outfield, certainly the deep section of the outfield, looks quick. It's like quite a lot of grass that's been rolled into that surface, but it seems just a little bit spongy. Oh, big nick. Through the vacant slip cordon area, and that'll go for 4. Waugh going after him. 6 runs from that over. 41 for 2.
If ever there was a big reason to go cordless, this is it. Black & Decker's powerful new cordless, the 12-volt Patriot. It's big on features like a keyless chuck. Tackles the big jobs with 12-volt power. And at the big workshop sale, you'll find it's right on the money. And while you're at it, clean up with the one and only classic Dustbuster. Don't miss the big workshop sale from Black & Decker. Someone's thinking.
These medium paces is going to continue. bit of outswing. They've got a little bit of variety in their attack. Asif Karim is their left-arm orthodox spinner, and I suspect, just looking at this pitch, it's going to turn and turn quite a lot, but it'll be slow.
That's all they'll need, the one spinner, if these others keep bowling as they have done so far. Under pressure, and Mark Waugh will come back for the second. Steve Waugh's even looking for three, but won't do it. Yes, the bowlers so far have just concentrated on a good line and length. No great pace about their bowling, which is suited by this pitch. And it's the batsmen who have to come to terms with it. That's a case of trying to throw down the stumps. The shouts were on there for him to have a go at the stumps because Steve Waugh was labouring just a little, just there. And he was looking up at the time.
Yes, the other spinner they've got out there is Morris Dumbe. He bowls off spinners, so they've got themselves covered all the way around. They've got left-arm orthodox spinners who spin away from the right-hander. The off spinner they can bring on if they have any problems with left-handers. And of course they've got this variety of seamers, all of whom look to me as if they've been coached pretty well, briefed pretty well. They're keeping a length and line. Rushing across the front of each other to try and save those singles, but they've got their work cut out with these two. Very good judges of runs.
The conditions will have an effect on the Australians, but if you think in terms of it being hot here, it's certainly no hotter than, say, Brisbane, or can't be as hot as Adelaide on a warm one where you can get it up to around about 100 on the old scale, 38. Well, it's only 25 here today. Humid, more like Brisbane than anywhere else in Australia by way of cricket.
A bit like Durban in South Africa as well, I suppose. No temperatures like this in the UK. I suppose it might be a bit like Hong Kong too. So nudging up towards the 15th over when these Kenyans are going to be allowed to spread their field. Not a bad over. 4 runs from it, and the score moves on to 45 for 2.
6:30 Sunday, when the Brisbane story concludes.
This is a very interesting city to live in.
A look at the history of our city's lifeblood, the river.
Well, I think we've got the best markets in Australia.
Relive the magic of Expo 88.
The world came to Brisbane.
Celebrate our greatest sporting achievements.
So it was a very special moment. I think all Queenslanders.
And Brisbane's coming of age, the Commonwealth Games.
All I could think of was that the last lap. I didn't want it to end.
Heather Ford and Bruce Page present the Brisbane story, concluding 6:30 Sunday on Channel 9.
So we're going to see Thomas Sodoyo continue now. A couple of fellow travellers moving into the commentary position, Ravi Shastri and Ian Chappell.
Thanks, Tony. And hello to all of our viewers. Nice and warm here in Vizag. And Kenya putting up a good show in the early part of this game. I saw them play in the first match in the competition, and I thought then that they could well be the best of the ICC associate countries. They batted quite well. Some aggressive batsmen. Chudasama was one who impressed me. Bowling and the fielding has been quite good this morning. Mark Waugh really having to battle hard to get home. He's back for 2. And it's good morning to Ravi Shastri.
Morning, Ian. Yes, a terrific performance by Kenya so far. We have the Australians under pressure. And this is a fine shot by Mark Waugh. The outfield is a little bumpy, so the fielders have to get their body behind it.
The early section of this innings, the Australians just struggling a little bit to come to grips with the pace of the pitch. And Mark Taylor, the skipper, was the first man to go.
A little bit of extra bounce here for Martin Suji, and Mark Taylor only managing to get the ball high on his bat and a simple catch to the cover fielder. And this is the second wicket. Ricky Ponting, promising young Australian, getting the outside edge, and the delighted Kenyan contingent.
And Mark Waugh really looking to pick up the pace now. Brings up the 50 for Australia in the 15th over.
Well, Mark Waugh has decided here to take the attack to the opposition. Down the track, and the men still in the circle. No problem at all once it went over that fielder.
.90 balls, that 50 taking. Mark Waugh with a strike rate of 66.6. One of the important things about this Australian side, even if you get a couple of early wickets, as Kenya have done, they've got such a long and strong batting lineup that they can keep going on the attack. I saw Mark Waugh with that previous delivery whacking it down the ground. He's not inhibited by the fact that a couple of early wickets have fallen. Stuart Law coming in at 5, then Michael Bevan at 6, Ian Healy, very good batsman to have coming in at 7. Paul Rifle and Shane Warne both bat quite well. It's 52 for 2.
It's been described as exciting, breathtaking, awesome, amazing, sensational, and spectacular. It's the Great Moscow Circus, now at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. The very best in family entertainment. Don't miss the final 3 shows, this Friday at 7:30 p.m. and Saturday at 1 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. Get your tickets right now at any Ticket World outlet. The amazing Moscow Circus must finish this Saturday. It's just too good to miss.
And that is the scoreboard here in Vizag, showing Australia 52 for 2. 15 overs have gone, so the field restrictions now change. Mark Waugh is on 29. Steve Waugh has just joined him. He's on 5. And something that will interest you, Ravi, you would have seen them perform, the 2 spinners for Kenya in the match against India, which was Kenya's first match in the World Cup. I was quite impressed with their spinners. A left-arm orthodox spinner, and we're going to see him now, Asif Karim, and then the skipper, Maurice Odumbi, with his off-spinners. I thought they bowled quite well.
They certainly did, and especially after India had got off to a big partnership. The opening stand was well over 100 runs, and they stuck to their task. Asif Karim pushes the ball through the air, and today he's got an opportunity to attack the Australians because they've lost 2 wickets early on, unlike the other day against India when Tendulkar and Jadeja were on the rampage.
We've had plenty of time to chat on our travels around India in the last couple of days. Interesting the point you were making as a former left-arm orthodox spinner about the difference in bowling to batsmen, opening batsmen who are set, or bowling when a couple of early wickets have been taken.
Absolutely, that's where cricket common sense comes into play, because when a side has got off to a start where they're over 100 for no loss, you've got to do a job for the team. There's no harm in trying to attack a bit there and pick up a wicket, because what a wicket at that stage can do is put a break in the scoring. But like Asif Karim's case now, when he's come into the attack where Australia have lost a couple of wickets, he doesn't have to experiment too much at this stage. He's just got to keep the ball there, allow the batsman to make the mistake, and keep the pressure on the batsman.
Asif Karim has started well, good line, and they're not just defensive spinners, these 2 from Kenya. They prepared to give the ball a bit of flight, and they turned the ball quite a bit in that first match at Qatar.
And in most of these Indian wickets, when you field first, because of the dampness and the moisture, you find that the odd ball tends to stop a bit on the batsman. So there might be a little bit of turn for Asif Karim.
That's a good start from Asif Karim. It's 52 for 2.
Dogs everywhere are discovering new Pal Mealtime. All the natural goodness of fresh meat and vegetables, snap chilled to keep mealtime fresher and tastier. Pal Mealtime, the fresh new idea, now in your supermarket meat section.
Come and experience all that's new at the new New Orleans. More than a restaurant.
Australia to bat first. Australia have lost 2 wickets in 16 overs of play. Mark Taylor out for 6 and Ricky Ponting also for 6. Mark Waugh is not out 29. His brother is 5 not out. And for Kenya, it's been a steady performance from their basically seam attack, with Asif Karim, the left arm orthodox spinner, just bowling the last over before drinks. Martin Suji with 1 for 14. Rajab Ali 1 for 15, the 2 successful bowlers. Thomas Odoye 3 overs for 17, a little expensive, the 18-year-old, but basically Kenya have done a pretty good job in this first 16 overs, Ravi.
Very good job, Ian, especially the 2 new ball bowlers. They got a bit of movement in the air and off the wicket as well. And just seeing the Australians batting today, I think this game will be a good game for them to get into the groove, because it's important that you adapt quickly to Indian conditions. They've come back from the season in Australia where the wickets are hard and not much movement off the deck once a batsman is in. But in India, especially when you're fielding first, when you're batting first, there is a bit of movement. The odd ball stops on the batsman, and that's where your front foot comes into play. It's very important to watch the ball onto the bat and be careful when you try and hit through the line, because just seeing the Australians today, they were trying to play a lot of shots on the up, and that brought about the downfall of Ricky Ponting, as well as to an extent of Mark Taylor.
Come on, boys, let's get these overs in.
And so the Australians would be just delighted to get out in the middle. As a top-class cricketer, you can spend so much time in the nets, and then all you want to do is get out in the middle and either make some runs or take some wickets, depending on what your particular skill is. So the Australians would have been, well, that would have felt like they were in a mosquito-infested area. They've been inside the nets so long, with the 3-day camp in Brisbane, and then about 10 or 11 days of nets before they actually came into this match to play. So the Australians, I would think, just happy to be out in the middle and playing. And this is Morris Adumbi, the captain and off-spinner, and he was quite impressive in the match against India. Got a lot of turn, and he bowled pretty tidily.
And he wasn't afraid to give the ball a bit of air too. So it'll be interesting to see if he gets some turn out of this wicket.
Steve Waugh on strike. to Steve Waugh. The other thing that has impressed me about Kenya, particularly when I watched them in the match against India, they look to me like a side that's been well drilled in the skills of the game. Their coach is a former Indian player, Hanuman Singh. Looks like he's done a good job with them, Ravi.
He's done a terrific job. He's been with them for a while. He's a very good student of the game.
Oh, yes, doc.
He has been the manager of Indian teams as well on tours, and I happen to be a player in one of those teams, and he makes a lot of cricketing sense. When he talks to you, he talks cricket all the time, and there's lots to learn from Hanuman Singh, and certainly the Kenyans have benefited.
That was Hanuman Singh sitting there. He was the gentleman on the left, and with him their manager, Harry Shah, who played in the 1975 World Cup. Just going slightly grey, Harry. Very good character. He actually played for East Africa as they were in that first World Cup in 1975. You've got to be pretty old to have played in that World Cup, Ravi, I'll tell you.
Early days for East Africa then. But coming back to Hanuman Singh, he got 100 on his test match debut against England. Very risky player.
Been some quite good banners here. In fact, all around India, plenty of banners, and one of them just a moment ago saying Mark Waugh, weapon of Australia. Certainly is one of the important weapons, and he's playing well today. Picked up a boundary. It's 57 for 2.
Well, again, a bit of room there for Mark Waugh. Maurice Udumbe has been a little guilty of bowling a little bit too far outside the off stump, especially when he's got an onside field. And Mark Waugh is too good a player not to pounce on such mistakes.
Australia 59 for 2 after 17 overs. They've lost Mark Taylor and Ricky Ponting. Mark Waugh, who opened with his skipper, is there on 33 and playing particularly well. 8 to Steve Waugh. 5 boundaries to Mark Waugh in his total. One thing I've also been impressed with this World Cup is the fact that they've got ball boys roaming in the around the boundary. So anytime that the ball is hit past the field and goes to the boundary, there's a young lad there to throw the ball back quickly. He's one of many. And it's something that cricket administrators could think about around the world. If you want to improve over rates, that's one way to do it.
And the fielders certainly won't mind that either.
It's also a nice bonus for the young lads. They get to see the cricket not having to pay to come in, and they get a good close-up and uninterrupted view of the cricket. So it's good. It's a good move all around.
Well, this is a good start by Asif Karim. He's bowling a good line on middle and off stump to both these batsmen, and making them work the ball around.
Asif!
He's a pretty good all-round sportsman, Asif Karim. He's represented Kenya in Davis Cup tennis as well. In fact, he was captain of that Davis Cup team. He's played in 3 ICC trophy competitions. That's how Kenya got here, by qualifying through the ICC trophy competition. Kenya, UAE and Holland, the 3 associate nations qualifying to make up the number of 12, going with the 9 test-playing countries. Holland doing a good job yesterday, gave a good account of themselves in the match against England. They were finally beaten, but not disgraced. It's 65 for 2.
Over.
Hey, did you hear KFC gourmet wedges are back? The ones with the...
Salsa. You start with tomato salsa and you pour it all over the wedge.
How does that go?
No. It's cheese. The hot melting cheese goes on first, then comes the tomato salsa.
Then the bacon and chives.
Yeah.
But what if you don't want bacon and chives?
You don't have to put them on.
That's the thing about KFC gourmet wedges. Oh, so you make them how you like them?
Yeah. KFC gourmet wedges. I like it like that.
Here in Vizag, Australia playing their first match in the World Cup. They've forfeited the first game they were due to play to Sri Lanka. This is the first time they've actually got out on the field and playing for some points. Opportunity to pick up 2 points. Australia in Group A. I was talking about that match between England and Holland yesterday. That's in Group B. England 279 for 4. Graham Hick getting a century. He's in very good form. That's beautifully struck. Boundary to Steve Waugh. First boundary to Steve Waugh.
Bit of flight here from the off spinner and lovely use of his feet there by Steve Waugh. Down the track to the pitch of the ball and finding the gap through extra cover.
Holland's reply to that score of 279 for 4, 230 for 6. And the first half century ever in World Cup cricket to Klaus-Jan van Noordweg with 64. He hit a couple of sixes. And he played quite well in Holland's first game. That was against New Zealand. So looking at the situation in Group B, South Africa playing particularly well in Group B. They've got 4 points. England have got 4, but they lost to New Zealand, and their 2 victories have come over Holland and UAE. So that's nothing to crow about. New Zealand also on 4 points. One of their victories a good one. That was the one over England. Holland and UAE with 2 losses. And Pakistan, because of Ramadan, they haven't played a game. They're due, in fact, to play tomorrow. Pakistan will be looking to make up some ground there in Group B. It's 71 for 2.
Hi, I'm Steve Waugh, and nothing inspires me more than great music. Now here's a brilliant CD called Winners Take All, featuring 20 great motivational songs. You know, there's nothing better than winning, and these songs are all winners. Winners take all.
David Shepherd doesn't quite block out the whole of the scoreboard, and he very kindly moves away for us. Big Shep. 71 for 2, Australia. Losing a couple of early wickets, but the Waugh brothers now consolidating. Partnership of 45 between the Waugh brothers.
A lot of depth in this Australian batting lineup. Stuart Law and Michael Bevan to follow. Not to forget Ian Healy. But Mark Waugh opening the batting, that's not been a regular position for him. But every time he has gone out and opened for Australia, he has got runs. So do you think it's a position that's come to stay?
I don't mind seeing him open at all. In fact, he must be quite happy about opening because he's got most of his centuries in that position, and which is understandable because you obviously get more overs if you're, well, there's an opportunity if you're good enough to stay in to get more overs. And he, as an opener, has a terrific record there. You see 62.22, 4 50s and 2 centuries. I guess you've got to look at two types of opener in a one-day game with the 15-over situation. You can have what is sometimes called the kamikaze type opener, who goes in and tries to whack the ball over the top. The type that I prefer more is the Mark Waugh type, who's got so many shots. He can play shots all around the wicket that you just really can't shut him down, because you're only allowed to have 2 men out. So if you bring your fine leg and third man up and put some guys back straight, I mean, Mark Waugh can cut, and Paul, he can just play so many shots that as a captain, it's just very difficult to stop him.
Well, if people in India are listening, often a question has been asked why Sachin Tendulkar opens the batting, and that's exactly the reason why.
Just to confirm that Mark Waugh is quite happy opening the batting, as well as that terrific average. His average almost halved when he's batting elsewhere. He has a strike rate of 82 when he opens the batting. 76 overall. The score is 76 for 2.
For years, the world has been waiting for an environmentally better car. The revolution is here. New Saab EcoPower, a quantum leap in reducing automotive pollution. Yet its turbo technology gives real power when you need it. New Saab 9000 with EcoPower. Like all Saabs, it's beyond the conventional.
Steve Waugh moving towards 4,000 runs in one-day internationals. Quite a landmark for him. He's just 3 runs short at the moment. In fact, he's only 2 short now.
Well, this really has been a golden period for Steve Waugh. He has a great record in both forms of cricket. But particularly over the last 12 months, he's been fantastic.
Yes, Martin! Oh, yes!
The effort has been there with the fielding from Kenya. They really have been prepared to throw themselves around. We've seen a couple of very good outfields at Baroda, and then in the last match at Gwalior. This one looks a little rougher here in Vizag.
Yeah, ball more.
Hasn't stopped the Kenyans throwing themselves around in an attempt to save every run.
And it's a hard outfield too. So really that's a compliment to the Kenyans for the effort they're putting in.
Wide signalled by umpire Shepherd. Kennedy Otieno, the wicketkeeper, also opens the batting for Kenya. And takes that one quite neatly.
Playing over that one was Steve Waugh.
Nicely into the gap. Just one bounce and then over the rope. It's 80 for
2. Buy your new prescription glasses from Eyewear now and share a pair with a second pair free for you
or me.
Share a pair from Eyewear now.
You'll see the difference. You'll see that Eyewear now. My heart is crying.
On the road to oblivion, these 2 unlucky people fall head over heels. Nicolas Cage, Elizabeth Shue, leaving Las Vegas.
The Kenyans have kept Australia under 4 runs per over, but it's just starting to push up very close to 4 now. Mark Waugh with another boundary.
Well, here down the track, not really to the pitch of the ball, but still deciding to go through with the shot and finding that big gap between long on and mid-wicket. Asif Karim has done a good job for Kenya, but Maurice Odumbe has struggled a bit with his line.
4,000 runs in one-day internationals for Steve Waugh. The 4,002 for Steve Waugh. There's odd occasions when it's not such a good idea being a ball boy at the cricket. When Mark Waugh bangs one out near you and it really skids off the ground, it's a good time to take evasive action, and this is exactly what that young ball boy did. It was a good move, son. He's waved in surrender.
Asif.
4,000 runs for Steve Waugh, and along with that he's taken over 150 wickets, in fact 162. So that really is a fantastic performance.
Thomas! Come on, Thomas. Well done.
He joins the gang of distinguished cricketers. Well, we have Kapil Dev with 3,000 runs and 250 wickets. Imran Khan, similar record, 3,700 runs, 182 wickets. Vivian Richards also getting the double. Carl Hooper, 3,200 runs and 100 wickets, and yours truly in that gang as well.
It's 88 for 2.
Our first date and it's raining. Anyway, it was the best thing I ever did going to Ideal Introductions. I think Julie will be just right for me. Here goes.
Stephen?
Julie?
Ideal Introductions. Okay, I'm ready. Let's go.
Rain.
I love the rain.
Me too.
It's the 90s way to meet. Ideal Introductions.
To Mark Waugh, his brother Stephen on 23, having just passed 4,000 runs at this level. It's going to be the skipper to continue with his off breaks. That's very delicate from Mark Waugh. In the commentary position now, we have former Indian captain Sunil Gavaskar, and with him Tony Greig.
Thanks, Ian, and yes, the Aussies beginning to put it together now. 90 for 2. The Waugh brothers once again coming to the rescue after a shaky start. Both of them played and missed a few times, but that's a lovely shot. Delicately chopped away just fine of third man, or the short third man. He's bowling a little bit short at the moment, and there's no doubt that the Waugh brothers love it in that area. Back for the second, in comes the throw. So, Mark Waugh brings up his 50. And that's exactly the way he would like to have started. On his way to 100 in this, the first Australian match.
Well, Mark Waugh is continuing the good form that he's shown as an opener.
Oh, he's got that one from outside off stump, and that'll go all the way for 4. So, that's his 7th boundary, and he's really starting to turn it on now.
Mind you, Tony, it's a bit hot out here, so one can understand if Mark Waugh wants to deal only in the currency of boundaries and not worry about the ones and the twos. Importantly, he's picking the gap, placing the ball very well.
Well, that's straight down the ground. That's a magnificent hit. That's way over the top of the side screen. A magnificent straight hit, the likes of which these two turn on from time to time. What a shot, Sonny.
Well, I just wonder what Maurice Odumbe is doing there. Is he smiling? Is he grimacing? Is he saying to himself, well, I'm getting you now. You just hit a boundary and a 6, and now I've got you in 2 minds.
Well, 14 runs already from this over. And that's number 15 to mid-wicket. Yes, once they get going, against the spinners. They take a bit of stopping. That was a lovely hit straight down the ground, right over the top of the screen. Would have gone 20 rows back, I'd say. That one into the gap. No, he's managed to cut it off. So 16 off the over. Good one for Australia. 104 for 2.
It's on. Amart All Sports 1 week mega stock clearance. These Puma footy boots half price. Junior boots only $19.95. And these 11 models are crazy $39.95 each. Cricket liquidation. County cricket bats, gloves and pads, all half price. Giant gear bags, $29.95. Unbeatable value. Puma Scope Junior, half price. Adidas Sport Shoes, $49.95. Out they go. Look, all these squash rackets half price or below. Mac 4 home gym with free installation, cut up $569. Treadmills, $199. Weight sets, $99. Mega savings tomorrow on fishing reels, golf shoes and T-shirts. Amart All Sports mega stock clearance on now.
My heart is crying.
On the road to oblivion, these two unlucky people fall head over heels. Nicolas Cage, Elizabeth Shue, leaving Las Vegas.
Well, they've worked hard on this outfield, there's no question about it, because we played matches here before, and the outfield was in pretty poor condition. There's a lot of grass there, but still not top-class outfield.
Just speaking to Ravi this morning, Sonny, he reckons that this place is really going to go ahead in the years that lie ahead. It's a port on the opposite side to Bombay, access to the east. A lot of activity already, so they can expect a lot of growth in these parts.
Right, Dash. Well, I don't know nothing about business, Tony, so I wouldn't want to say anything on that. But yes, if it's going to progress, why not? I think every town that progresses in India is good for India.
One played down to mid-off with consummate ease. Yes, it's an industrial centre, this place. Right on the beach as well, on the Bay of Bengal. Oh, that's well played too, and that'll go for 4. That's a magnificent shot. He isn't doing anything other than timing it absolutely magnificently. Now he really has settled in, Mark Waugh. Just watch this shot.
Yes, Asif Karim, having seen Mark Waugh step out and cart Maurice Odumbe, ball and get short to prevent him from coming down the wicket, but Mark Waugh quite up to it. Not a great piece of fielding there.
Come back for 2 there, the placement perfect. And that's the end of the over. 11 runs from that one, so quite expensive. 115 is the score.
Sunday night at the movies. A story wilder than the Untamed West.
No past, no future.
The legend of Jesse Lee.
Jesse with Sulaiman.
And his posse.
You ain't here for that revenge, are you?
Stephen Baldwin, Mario Van Peebles, Billy Zane.
An eye for an eye. It's between you and me.
Brought to you by the Yellow Pages.
A man's got to get devil his due.
For the first time on television, Posse. Sunday, 8:30 on Channel 9.
115 for 2. Shane Lee offering a drink to the 2 batsmen out there. One of the reasons, of course, why the Australians went to Brisbane was to get themselves into these kinds of conditions so that when they came over to India, they wouldn't find themselves confronted by the sort of problems that go with coming into town and finding it really hot, having been in cool conditions. It's a much better idea to try and acclimatise yourself. Well, they've decided to take the off-spinner out of the attack now, and we're going to see Rajab Ali continue. He bowled a pretty useful first spell. 5 overs, 1 for 15. Yes, Maurice Odumbe went for 35 or 4 overs, so he's taken himself off.
But those are the bowling figures for the Kenya team. Soji got the first wicket of Mark Taylor, and then Rajabali got into the act, getting Ricky Ponting caught behind. But afterward, it's been hard work for the Kenyans.
So Rajabali, who gets the ball to move in, if anything, 8 little in-swingers, and then every now and again tries to bowl the straight one, and that was the one that got rid of Ricky Ponting. So once again, a lovely atmosphere wherever you go in India. The crowds flock in to watch the cricket. And what a hive of activity it is just outside the ground. Private enterprise like you've never seen it. Little tiny shops accommodating almost every form of business that you can think of in these areas. They fix bikes, they fix motor cars, they fix these little three-wheelers. There are guys out there selling every kind of fruit you can imagine. That one's blazed away on the offside. They've got a sweeper there, and so they'll settle for 2. Yes, that's just behind the ground there. You can see the little three-wheelers and all the shops. They sell those little sugar bananas, which are lovely and sweet. They're watermelons by the millions out there. And a lot of the ladies wandering around with big silver pots of water on their heads. Definitely a hive of activity. Yes, they look like onions. And little mopeds, scooters, and it's a free-for-all. That's well fielded. That's the end of the over. 120 for 2.
You may have noticed that more and more Australians are finding a new way, a better way to get a home loan. You don't have to go to a bank. Shop around, look for a lower rate and lower repayments. You'll find yourself asking RAMS to call on you. A RAMS home loan is just 8.95% per annum. RAMS, the better way to get a home loan. 1800 069 070.
$120 for 2. Just 7 extras so far, 25 overs.
Right on, over.
4.8 per over. Yes, Vizag apparently growing very quickly. Around about 50 years ago, they tell me that the population was only around about 1,000. And then, of course, the Navy moved in because of the port facilities here. David Tukolo. I'll get one there as the sweeper comes in. Yes, we managed to get up onto one of the hills on the outskirts of town here. Just look down over the town, and that's the view. Quite a hilly area, actually. You'll see the sea and the port in the background there. By virtue of being on the Bay of Bengal, this time of year, it's very humid. Plenty of activity in the port. And quite a few cricket fields dotted around the place as well. Down to mid-on.
Well, that's another view of Vishakhapatnam, also known as Vizag. And the town really has developed over the years. It's also got a very renowned university.
We're just past the stumps. So that partnership now has gone to 98. Good performance by these two. Just at one stage there, just looked as if the Australians could get themselves into a bit of a hole, but the Waugh brothers have fixed that problem.
Different methods there. Mark Waugh more likely to caress the ball. Steve Waugh more correct. But from the Australian point of view, both have contributed enormously to the Australian cricket's run of successes over the past couple of seasons. Integral part of the Australian batting lineup now, the Waugh brothers.
Yeah, ball, David.
So comfortably played away for a single. That's the end of the over. It's also the 100 partnership. It's 126 for 2.
It's been described as exciting, breathtaking, awesome, amazing, sensational, and spectacular. It's the Great Moscow Circus, now at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. The very best in family entertainment. Don't miss the final 3 shows, this Friday at 7:30 p.m. and Saturday at 1 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. Get your tickets right now at any Ticket World outlet. The amazing Moscow Circus must finish this Saturday. It's just too good to miss.
26 for 2 the score. A lot of Australians in particular and visitors that come out here would be very surprised by the standard of accommodation in some of these cities around India. Some of the hotels are absolutely fantastic. 4.84 per over the run rate at the moment. Yes, here in Vizag, the Taj Residency is the hotel down on the beach. That's in the air. This could be out. It's going to be caught. Yes, he's dropped him. Well, that is a disaster. David Tokolo has fielded so well today, and that one was straight down his throat. All he had to do was run in a few yards to take the catch. It seemed to get to him a little quicker than he expected. Hit the hard parts of his hand, just bounced out.
Yes, I think he seemed to have snatched at it. Mark Waugh going for the big one there. Didn't quite get hold of it. And look at him. And not only did he mess it up, then he threw it in very wildly to add to the overthrow.
Oh, he's dropped him at behind the wicket now. So Thomas Odeo it was who dropped the catch in the field, in the outfield. And now the wicketkeeper, Kennedy Otieno. That's the end of the over, 129 for 2. No, it's not, in fact. It's not the end of the over. This is the first drop. Let's have a look at it. In the air, hard part of his hands there, whack. That was the end of that one. And then, of course, the nick, and a big nick too. It went quite wide. You can see there, big deflection. Out comes the glove, just gets onto the ball, and 2 in a row for Mark Waugh. So, it certainly is all happening out there. Just cannot afford to drop catches in these matches, especially if it's Mark Waugh. They really are scoring off every ball now. First 50 in this partnership came off 74 balls. The second 50 to take him to 100 was off 36 balls. So you can see that how they really have increased the run rate, almost doubled it, in fact. getting a bit carried away out here, calling over after one ball. This is one ball to go now. Given that he doesn't bowl a no ball or a wide, of course. Right in the slot, and that one down to mid-off again. 7 off the over, 133 for 2.
If we said we had big CDs at 1995, you'd say like what? And we'd say like Pearl Jam 10. And like Cypress Hill. And like Alice in Chains. Then you'd say 1995 and we'd say yeah, nice price, only from Sony.
So David Takato is going to continue, and the Australians have taken their run rate to almost 5 and over. Yes, we were talking about that Taj Residency, absolutely magnificent hotel. You can see there it's almost down on the beach. That's the entrance to the hotel. The rooms looking down over the pool and also over the beach area. Teams, the media are all staying there. Although we missed out last night, I was with Sonny and Richie on the train from Gwalior. But we're looking forward to settling in there tonight. Yes, the Australians who have spent the night there have assured us that there's a lovely pool and the food is really good. And you've no doubt spent a bit of time there in the past, Sonny.
Yes, I think the odd day. You get a warm welcome too.
Here. Now stop, David.
Haven't played too many matches down here in Vizag. But we were here when India played the West Indies. And it is a very, very good hotel.
In the air and wide of the Fields Minute extra cover. Well, what we might have to do, Sonny, at the end of the day is zip back to the pub, get the goggles on, get the swimmers on. We might have to take you on. How's your crawl?
You mean the pool? No, I don't think so. I think they don't have water which is just 2 feet deep, so I can't enter the pool at all.
He's whipped that one away on the onside, bouncing away towards the fence. 6 runs off the over. Australia 139 for 2.
On Water Rats Monday.
Oh, they'd want to chop off an Iron Man's head.
Another Iron Man.
When winning is everything,
You're saying someone injected him with potassium?
you must pay the price.
Turn the place over.
What the hell's going on?
Even if it means betraying your friend.
Some evil little person fed him animal drugs.
Nine's brilliant new police
You
drama.
better go aboard.
Is that the only way you can make girls?
With the stories and characters you'll grow to love.
Now you want to shove me out of his life altogether? Well, that's just not going to happen.
At the regular time, 7:30 Monday, Water Rats on 9.
139 for 2. We've got some hard workers. Nick, our graphics man, by the side of the pool. That's him. It's a bit tough, this trip, isn't it? And Sonny Gavaskar saying that he needs more than 2 foot of water. That'll be up to your chest.
You're right there, Tony. I think anything more and I'd be struggling. But just imagine what G.R. Vishwanath would do. And of course, to all those who think that the commentator's life is a cushy life, they should have been with us on the flight yesterday and on the train too. It was an experience.
Nice shot. Driven away through the offside field. Well, certainly got to do some work here to fix things. Thomas Adoyo is the man who dropped the catch in the deep. And what he'll need to do here is get rid of these two. Quick smart. He's got the ball in his hand. So It's over to him now. Those are his figures so far. No wicket for 18 off 3.1. The crowd chanting for a sixer. We want sixer. Haven't we heard that around the country? And let me tell you, when an Indian hits one of those, the roof comes off the stadium.
That's right, and particularly if it's someone they love to watch batting, somebody like Sachin Tendulkar.
Or going for the big heave over mid-wicket that time. Didn't bounce very much, didn't carry the keeper. And, of course, he didn't lay bat on ball. However, they can afford to really let themselves go now. Try and build a big total here. I think the Australians will be quite conscious of the run rate. It's very important from their point of view that they win all their matches. They've already conceded 2 points to the Sri Lankans. They need to win all their matches, and they need to do it in style as well. Oh, and that's got back past him so fast that he didn't have time to react. He'd have to go down as a drop catch, but he hit it pretty hard.
Yes, it has to, although it's difficult for bowlers in their follow-through to always judge the pace at which the ball is coming back at them. This one was hit very, very hard, but at the international level, you are supposed to catch them.
Yes, if the Australians do win their section, this is the A group. If they win the A group, down the ground again, they'll end up playing their quarter-final in Pakistan. If they come second or third, they'll play their quarter-final in the south of India. And if they come fourth out of 6 in their group, they'll also play in Pakistan. Not a bad strike rate, and really is playing easily at the moment. 4 runs from that over. 143 for 2.
Fantastic news
from Telstra.
Introducing Telstra SmartSaver Flexi Plan. Save 15% if you spend $15 or more per month on STD and 0011 international calls.
I can save 15% when I call anyone in Australia.
Anywhere in the world?
Anyone, anywhere, anytime. No fees.
This plan is definitely for me.
SmartSaver. Another great reason to be with Telstra. To save, phone 1800 052 052 and join now.
That is coming up is going to be one of the big matches of this tournament, the India against Australia match in Bombay. Beautifully driven on the offside. You live in Bombay, it's your hometown. What's the atmosphere like? A lot of people are no doubt looking forward to the match.
Yes, they are, but Greggy, it's no longer Bombay, it is officially Mumbai. And definitely Mumbai is very, very excited about the prospect of seeing the clash between the world champions, Australia, and their own team.
Yeah, David.
Just I tell you what, you've got to be on your toes around here with Sonny Gavaskar around. Mumbai, how long has it been Mumbai for?
Well, I think not very long, about 3 or 4 months. But nevertheless, that's the official name now. And it's going to be an exciting game because it's also going to be the first time that Mumbai is going to have a match under the lights.
Maurice!
So I'm informed that Mumbai is the original name for Bombay.
That's right.
It's actually Mumbai, B-A-I, is the new name for what was Bombay. That's gone for 4. Well, that's Kareem down there. And that's Steve Waugh's second 4. That is a bad miss. And that also brings up the 150. Beautiful shot, really did hit through the line of that one nicely. But watch this fielding.
Well, they have improved the outfield, but I think there is still a lot of work to be done down there. You can see how dusty the outfield is. It's not exactly smooth.
So the Aussies really have accelerated here. The last two 50s have come in 48 and 42 balls respectively.
Ball, David.
So another good over for the Aussies. 9 runs from it. 152 for 2.
Over.
My name is Jackie I'm new in town.
So the World Cup, that match we were talking about, India versus Australia, from Wankhede Stadium in what is now Mumbai. We'll have to get our graphics man back from the pool. That date, Tuesday the 27th of February. Write that one down, that's going to be huge. That one flayed away on the offside. The sweeper's in position there, nicely picked up. And the throw good as well. So the score moves on to 153 for 2. Just started the 31st over, and in the commentary box, Richie Benaud and Ravi Shastri.
Thanks, Tony, and indeed it is Mumbai these days. I was asking Sunil Gavaskar about that this morning. He gave me the full rundown, which we'll come back to in just a moment. The man out there covering at deep point. Yes, it's a political gesture. And the party getting into power promised they would change the name from the English derivation of Bombay, and they would take it back to Mumbai. And Ravi Shastri, that's exactly what they've done.
Absolutely. I happen to hail from Mumbai, Richie, and that's the way it's called in the local language, Marathi. And it's come to stay.
Mumbai is the place where that match will be played, Wankhede Stadium. We used to play at the Cricket Club of India's Brabourne Stadium many years ago. Now it's Wankhede, and they told me a very nice ground as well. There have been some great moments there. 154 for 2. And the last time I was on, one of the last things I said was that Mark and Steve Waugh needed to start using their brains and work out that this pitch was very slow, low bounce, and I think they might have done just that.
Certainly have, Richie. They seem to be on a roll at the moment. Mark Waugh in particular looks to be an excellent touch.
.91 for Mark Waugh at the moment. Steve denied runs there, stays on 45. Well, this pitch is not all that dissimilar to the one we saw up at Gwalior for India and West Indies. Just detect, Ravi, there might be a little less bounce in it.
It's so important to move your feet on this kind of wicket. Batsmen often tend to make the mistake of trying to hit the ball too hard.
And Steve Waugh certainly waited on that one. He could have played 3 strokes by the time he actually got bat to ball. That's a clever piece of batting. And it takes it along to 159 for 2.
Feeling great. Oh.
As soon as you make a generalisation like that, it's a sweeping statement. A lot of GPs I've talked to who practice acupuncture themselves They say, well, I've done a couple of weeks training, I know a little bit.
I'm feeling good.
Now umpire Cyril Mitchley is fiddling and fussing around out there with the change of bowler. Good umpire Cyril Mitchley. And the guy at the other end, David Shepherd, is outstanding. It's a wonderful tournament for umpires as well as players. We've had experience of David Shepherd, Ravi, but have you played under Cyril Mitchley?
I have, Richie, on my first tour to South Africa. In fact, it was the first tour to South Africa in about 21 years. And Cyril Mitchley did a good job out there.
The bowler is the left-arm spinner, Asif Karim. It's been a struggle for the bowlers after the early wickets. They knocked over Mark Taylor just for 6 and Ricky Ponting for the same score. The fielding at that stage was brilliant, but under pressure it's just given away a little. Approach of half-century and century brings the clapping from the crowd right round India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. And Steve Waugh's got it. He's going to look for a second. He won't do that. He'll stay on quickly.
This really has been a fine innings from Steve Waugh. He struggled initially to get his timing right. Now he seems to be in full flow. Another 50, something he's got used to in the last couple of years.
.161 for 2.
It's Gold, Gold, Gold. Exhibition Speedway proudly presents this Saturday night at 7 p.m. the Golden Anniversary Speed Car Cup, including the Parade of Champions from Speed Car Racing's golden years, featuring Blair Shepherd, John Fenton, Bob Morgan, Ron Wanless and more. There's vintage speed cars, the golden helmet for Speedway motorcycles and crazy sidecars too. Kids see International stuntman the Kangaroo Kid perform his death-defying show, plus the Ride on Moa Grand Prix. Exhibition Speedway, Brisbane Exhibition Grounds, 7 p.m. Saturday night. Be there.
Still to come, Stuart Law and then Bevan Healy. So 3 good players to come. Good in any type of game, but particularly adept at the limited overs version. And then Rifle to follow them.
Yes, Richie, just seeing Stuart Law playing over the last 3 months, the little bit of cricket we got to see from Australia, he seems to be a player who has a lot of time when it comes to playing the quicker bowlers.
The new bowler is Edward Odumbe. Tito is known as. Yugoslav connections. He might get a wide for that. It's what is politely termed a little loosener.
Yeah, when the conditions are hot and humid, when you bowl a spell and then have to go into the outfield for a break, the body does tend to stiffen up. So it's a wise thing to get warmed up before you come back for your second spell.
The outfield is 2 things. First is it's fast, even though it's got quite a decent covering of grass, but it's also a bit rough on the field. There's an awkward bounce or 2 out there. And that'll apply for the Australians as well as the Kenya side.
very important that you get your body behind the ball and keep your eyes on the ball all the time. Because when it's bumpy out there, it's so easy to misfield.
That's safe. It's beautifully placed. It's good stroke. That was a good, cool, calculated stroke. But he was slightly beaten in the length. He didn't just flail at it, just placed it perfectly with a chip.
A beautiful shot here by Mark Waugh. He's picked the spot he wanted to hit the ball even before the bowler had bowled. And he waited on it and just played through the line.
There's one stage where it looked as though Mark Waugh just about had enough out there. He was dropped twice in 2 balls, and if ever I've seen a player who was searching for the water bottle and the cool of the dressing room, it was Mark, but he's recovered from that.
And it's good for Australia too, because the conditions right around India are going to be similar. So it's important that Mark Waugh gets the taste of things, plays a long innings here today, because that should stand him in good store for future innings.
Well, Australian cricket followers shouldn't worry too much about the conditions over here, because it can be just as awkward in Australia. Been in Perth with 34 degrees, Adelaide we talked about earlier, 36, 37. Brisbane, when it's 30 there and 100 degrees humidity, that is rugged, I tell you. .170 for 2.
Monday on A Current Affair, heroin deals at the school gate.
Pretty good, yeah.
Our undercover investigation exposes a national disgrace.
Between 25 and 50% pure.
A daily gauntlet for students and teachers too frightened to act. We join police as they try to smash the drug gang.
They don't appear to be afraid of being discovered by authorities.
Plus, mothers find out what really happens in daycare.
It wasn't a tap, it was a whack.
They thought their children were being looked after, but now they're demanding answers.
Of course it's neglect.
Next week on A Current Affair.
More Bevan and Healy still to come to keep the scoring rate moving along. And Mark Waugh is on 97.
Yeah, ball, that's it.
Another single there. Well, if I thought that Mark Waugh was looking a little distressed early on, I think that might be approaching again. He'll know that he has 3 other batsmen there who will need a bit of match practice. It won't surprise me if he gives it a bit of a dash after, if he reaches the 100, that is.
Yeah, ball.
One of 2 things will happen then, Richie. Either he'll get out quickly, or we could be in here for a big 100 from Mark Waugh if he bats out the 50 overs.
Half-hearted appeal, about a 1/3 appeal there. They weren't quite sure what had happened, but it looked as though it came off the pad.
Well, yeah, umpire Cyril Mitchley pretty certain that Steve Waugh didn't nick it.
Wicket keeper is Kennedy Otieno. Big hit. It's 175 for 2 with that boundary from Steve Waugh.
and experience all that's new at the new New Orleans. More than a restaurant.
He's going to face Tito Adumbi. Single there. As the applause when Mark Waugh gets on strike again will lead up to the ball being bowled, and it'll be a bit more applause and clapping and shouting because he's on 99. Just 108 balls now, and that after the struggle early on. Single there. So 3 balls left now in this over for Mark Waugh. It must just be around about time for the drink session. There's the crowd in the background now. It's a standing ovation for being on 99. Take the 2, it takes him on to 101, his 6th one-day international century, his first in the World Cup, and puts him 3rd in line now for Australia behind Jeff Marsh and Dean Jones.
Really has been a fine innings from Mark Waugh. He has a great record as an opening batsman in one-day cricket, and today, after struggling initially, found his timing as the innings progressed and now has reached a fine 100. He's the kind of batsman who loves the ball coming on to the bat, and that wasn't really happening early on in the innings. One found that Mark Waugh was reaching out at the ball, but as the innings progressed, he started moving his feet a lot better, allowed the ball to come onto the bat, waited on it, and runs started coming easily.
181 for 2, and it's the drinks break now. Mark Waugh is tired out there, but he'll still be hanging on. He'll get himself a drink, and there's plenty there. That's the massive Coca-Cola drink service, main sponsors for this World Cup of 1996, and that's the way the drinks are brought on. Used to be with little chaps in white coats and silver salvers. 181 for 2.
Did you hear KFC gourmet wedges are back? The ones with the...
Salsa. You start with tomato salsa and you pour it all over the wedge.
How does that go?
No. It's cheese. The hot melting cheese goes on first, then comes the tomato salsa.
Then the bacon and chives.
Yeah.
But what if you don't want bacon and chives?
You don't have to put them on.
That's the thing about KFC gourmet wedges. Oh, so you make them how you like them?
Yeah. KFC gourmet wedges. I like it like that.
It's on. Amart All Sports 1 week mega stock clearance. These Puma footy boots half price. Junior boots only $19.95. And these 11 models are crazy $39.95 each. cricket liquidation. County cricket bats, gloves and pads, all half price. Giant gear bags, $29.95. Unbeatable value. Puma Scope Junior, half price. Adidas Sport Shoes, $49.95. Out they go. Look, all these squash rackets half price or below. Mac 4 home gym with free installation, cut to $569. Treadmills, $199. Weight sets, $99. Mega savings tomorrow on fishing reels, golf shoes and T-shirts. Amart All Sports mega stock clearance on now.
Where is the best place to sell your car?
In the paper?
No.
By the roadside?
No.
Take it to Zaps.
That's right. Zaps have buying centres at Mount Gravatt, Aspley, Maruka and the Gold Coast, waiting to buy your car.
It's Big John.
For the first time, the furniture show for those in the know will be open to the public. The 1996 Queensland Furnishing Expo from Saturday 24th to Monday the 26th of February with public access from 1 p.m. each day at the Brisbane Convention and Exhibition Centre.
Buy your new prescription glasses from Eyewear now and share a pair with a second pair free for you
Or me.
Share a pair from Eyewear now.
You'll see the difference. You'll see that Eyewear now.
Want to make movies? Find out how. The Queensland School of Film and Television, Australia's leading private film school.
Pick up play in the 38th over.
Suchi is the bowler from the pavilion end. The commentator at the same end is Ian Chappell, and alongside him is Sunil Gavaskar.
Thanks, Richie. And the Australians now pushing their run rate up to 5.38. Runs coming very quickly, even though both players are looking a little tired. Pretty warm here in this part of the world, Sonny.
Yes, it is, and I think the thing to watch out for really is losing too much of sweat. They need to take in a lot of liquid refreshments out here, because otherwise you would tend to cramp up.
War amassing his third century as a one-day opener. Had tremendous success in that position. That's the third most for Australia now. He's got 6 one-day centuries in all. Puts him third behind Jeff Marsh with 9 and Dean Jones with 7. A terrific record as an opener.
The Kenyan fielding, though it has had its awkward moments with the outfield, has not been short of enthusiasm. They have been really attacking the ball, and though they might have found the outfield a little different than the one they played in Cuttack, they certainly haven't given up. The heads haven't dropped. That's very important.
It's 2:06.4. Well, in fact, it's not going to be, because umpire Mitchley has called that a no ball. I'm not sure why. He had a good look at umpire Shepherd, and umpire Shepherd wasn't doing anything, and I think umpire Shepherd had it right.
And there you are, umpire Shepherd from Square Leg nodding that the ball was over the batsman's shoulders.
It's 2:07 for 2.
So can you explain this interest-free thing to me?
Well, that just means you can get new tyres now and not pay a cent for 3 months. It's available on our entire range of tyres.
Oh. I'll have a couple of new tyres from a Trojan then.
Yeah, sounds like a fair swap to me.
Bowes interest-free terms. Drive away with 3 months to pay. Call 132381 for your nearest Bow Repairs store.
109 to Mark Waugh. Steve Waugh 76. This match against Kenya being played in Vizag. And the Kenyan captain Morris Odumbe won the toss, sent Australia into bat. He had a couple of early successes there. And it's going to be Thomas Odoye now to bowl. If he gets punished by Mark Waugh, he's really only got himself to blame because he dropped Mark Waugh in the outfield.
Well, you can see there Mark Waugh breathing a little heavily. It is hot out here at Vizag, but Mark Waugh is finding that gap very regularly, and the Kenyan captain has done very little to plug that gap.
Between these two now 186, the best for Australia in a World Cup match, beating the opening partnership of Rick McCosker and Alan Turner against Sri Lanka at the Oval in 1975. They put together an opening partnership of 182.
And that bit of fielding is what I mean by the Kenyans not being short of enthusiasm. They certainly haven't let their heads drop. In spite of this huge partnership between the Waugh brothers, the Kenyans have attacked the ball quite enthusiastically to a great extent. Of course, the Waugh brothers have been hitting boundaries, and which has meant that the Kenyan fielding really has had to only pick up the ball from the boundary boards.
No ball called by umpire David Shepherd of England. Very humid. You see there Mark Waugh, the shirt is absolutely wringing wet. The Waugh brothers should be fairly used to that. Sydney, certainly this time of the year, is pretty humid. The Australians came from a 3-day camp in Brisbane where it would be very humid. Pretty good acclimatisation playing in Brisbane or practicing in Brisbane at the camp for 3 days. Still getting plenty of beef into those shots, Mark Waugh, despite the tiredness.
Well, the Kenyans are inexperienced and playing against top-class opponents. None of their bowlers have really tried to do anything different. It's very predictable, and so the Waugh brothers are having the time of their lives out there.
Australia 220 for 2.
Hey, did you hear KFC gourmet wedges are back? The ones with the...
Salsa. You start with tomato salsa, and you pour it all over the wedge.
How does that go?
No. It's cheese. The hot melting cheese goes on first, then comes the tomato sauce.
Then the bacon and chives.
Yeah.
But what if you don't want bacon and chives?
You don't have to put them on.
That's the thing about KFC gourmet wedges. Oh, so you make them how you like them?
Yeah.
KFC gourmet wedges. I like it like that.
122 Mark Waugh, 78 to Steve Waugh. The Australians taking in quite a bit of fluid, as Sonny suggested that they should. Shane Lee taking out a couple of bottles, large bottles of mineral water, and the Waugh twins sinking them very quickly. Shane Lee goes back empty-handed, apart from the gloves.
Yes, I think in Indian conditions you also need to keep sucking on a sweet, because there's a bit of sugar in that. Keeps your throat from going dry.
Another no ball. Once again, Mark Waugh finds the boundary. Those little soft things you like, Sonny, nice and sweet and freshen up the mouth a bit.
Absolutely, I keep on sucking them all the time. I don't need to, actually, because I am not out in the sun. But when you're out in the sun and the sweat's coming off you, you need to have the fluids coming in. And a little bit of sweet, a little bit of sugar is always good for the energy levels.
Okay, I just need to do that again, and before the line drops out, if you could both say thank you, just so we get that clean. Thank you. And can you try and get up the throw, although I can do it. Okay.
Indians, being inexperienced, have certainly not been able to make the adjustments. They have not been able to be a little different, very predictable.
Beautiful timing from Mark Waugh, just showing that you don't need strength. Mark Waugh is obviously very tired out there, but with that lovely flowing style of his, he gets plenty of timing in the shot.
Yes, I think now both the brothers are batting as if they're having a net, trying to experiment a little bit with their cricket as well. They can afford to. They've given Australia a very good total. And another 10 overs to go, a little more than 10 overs. So the Australians are looking at a score of 300 plus.
This partnership between the Waugh twins is the first double century partnership in a World Cup match. So another record to the Waugh twins. They have plenty of records when it comes to partnerships. It's 233 for 2.
What will you remember after an evening at the Ox?
The charm.
And
The service.
anything else?
Affordable elegance.
What about
Of course, the menu.
meet you at the Ox?
Mark Waugh on 130, Steve Waugh 81. I guess the query now for the Australians, seeing they've had so much net practice, is whether they'll want to get players like Stuart Law and Michael Bevan out to the middle and get them a bit of a hit. Obviously difficult to ask Steve Waugh to toss it away when he's 81, but Mark Waugh, having already made the century, could be a suggestion from the skipper that he give it away, and he's done exactly that. I think Mark Waugh quite happy to go.
Well, I'm not too sure any batsman likes to get out, even if he's got 100 under his belt. But Mark Waugh will not be too disappointed. He's done a very good job for his team. The Australians were a little shaky when they lost those 2 early wickets. Mark Waugh going for another biggie and skying a catch to backward point. That's a third Australian wicket gone for 233.
Stuart Law is the new batsman at number 5. With Australia 233 for 3. Has a century to his name, scored against Zimbabwe at the Bellerive Oval. Mark Waugh's century equaling his highest score at this level. Mark Waugh making 130 before he was dismissed.
He is going for another of those big hits. He'd been throwing his bat around after he got his 100, and this time not quite connecting it. But that wicket will have allowed Stuart Law to come out in the middle. It's not only important to have a hit, but it's also important to get used to the heat, get the lungs used to the running between the wickets. So Mark Waugh, in fact, might have done a favour to Stuart Law by getting out, and if Stuart Law can run a bit, he will not only get used to the heat, but also to the wickets.
Stuart Law off the mark. Yes, it's quite amazing, isn't it, Sonny? It doesn't matter how much you train, and then you go in the nets and you work hard in the nets, but the first time you actually go out there and play in a serious match, and if you do a bit of running between the wickets, you always pull up a bit stiff and sore the first day. It doesn't matter how hard you've trained.
That's right. I think when you're training in the nets, your mind is not exactly concentrating on what you're doing. There is an element of being relaxed, but out there in the middle, you cannot afford to do so. The mind is also concentrated on ensuring that you do not get out, and which means that your breathing becomes a little different than when you're training, and that's why it's important to get out there in the middle and to be able to run around a bit and get used to the heat. I can't think of another centre where the heat will be as much as at Vizag. The Australians are really doing well out there.
Stuart Law will be looking for a couple. It's 237 for 3.
Saturday night from 7, Exhibition Speedway presents the Golden Anniversary Speed Car Cup, including a parade of champions, the Golden Helmet for Speedway motorcycles, plus crazy sidecars too. See Stuntman the Kangaroo Kid and the Ride on Moa Grand Prix. Exhibition Speedway, Saturday night from 7.
60 Minutes presents the final showdown, Howard versus Keating, from the 9 Studios, commercial free. And The Worm returns. The great debate, moderated by Ray Martin, with the questions you want answered. 7:30 Sunday.
The crowd has built up quite nicely here at Vizag. Good setup for the crowd. A lot of Shamianas around to give them good cover, keep them out of the sun. And well taken. Oh, an excellent catch. So Steve Waugh not able to repeat the performance of his brother and make a century, but he'll be well pleased with an innings that's got him back into his best form.
Well, that was a very, very good reflex catch there from Soji. The ball was struck quite firmly, right in the middle. Very good reflex catch there from Soji. So it's the 4th Australian wicket gone for 237 in the 42nd over.
Ottmar Liebert. His brand new studio album Opium is an entrancing blend of world music, ambiance and flamenco blues. 32 arousing tracks on this limited edition, specially priced double album. Ottmar Liebert, Opium.
Feeling great, oh so cool. Yes I am, I'm feeling good.
What's hot at Retrovision? All the best buys on all the top brands. $20 off Panasonic's answering machine. $10 off GE's 13 memory slimline phone. Smart price on the plain paper Smart Fax. And Uniden's cordless phone is a very special buy. 29 days of real savings.
Retrovision. Buy anywhere else and you'll pay too much.
Feeling good.
Michael Bevan will get the opportunity to acclimatise a little here in Vizag. Just over 8 overs to go to complete this Australian innings. 237 for 4 at the moment after having been sent in by the Kenyan captain, Morris Odumbe. An unbelievable record, Michael Bevan, in this style of cricket. Averaged 194.5 in the World Series that was just completed in Australia. Also has some good form in this part of the world. He played in Pakistan last time Australia toured there and played extremely well in Pakistan, which suggests that he should adjust fairly quickly to the slower wickets. That is called a wide by umpire Mitchley. Steve Waugh, the last man out. A very sharp caught and bowled chance taken by Martin Suji.
The Kenyans have dropped a few catches today, but this one, very good reflex catch there from Suji. The ball struck very, very hard by Steve Waugh. He had a long partnership with his brother, and now the Kenyans have 2 wickets in successive overs.
Just taking your point a little further about acclimatising to the heat, Sonny, and we're in this part of the world where it is quite humid. I guess it's also important for Australia if you're looking forward to the quarterfinals, because the third team in Group A, which is the group that Australia are in, would play their quarterfinal in Bangalore. The second team in Group A would play in Madras. Michael Bevan off the mark. Now, there's a fair chance that Australia will finish in one of those 2 positions, having forfeited to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka could well take the top position. So that means that they could be facing a quarterfinal in Bangalore or Madras, both quite humid centres.
Well, Madras perhaps even more so than Bangalore. Bangalore in early March can be a little pleasant, a little more pleasant, I'd say, while Madras can be humid. Madras is humid most of the year, right through the year. So playing in Vizag would in fact be very good practice for the Australians.
This will be an interesting combination. Stuart Law and Michael Bevan. Michael Bevan extremely quick between the wickets. Obviously being a fresh player out there, not affected by the heat yet. He'll be charging up and down. Stuart Law was probably enjoying just jogging along at a nice pace, as Sonny suggested, conserving a bit of energy with Steve Waugh, who was pretty tired. He won't get that opportunity with the racehorse at the other end.
Well, even if there's a racehorse at the other end, it's a matter of judging whether there is an extra run in it or not. And I would imagine that on this outfield, you would want to put pressure on the fielders by taking your first run very quickly. But if the ball is going straight to the fielder and if it's close to the wicket in the circle, there really is no point charging and losing a bit of energy.
Stuart Law coming back for the second. That's well run. 243 for 4.
È tempo di Mac a Roma.
.243 for 4, Australia at Vizag. 42 overs have been bowled. And now right in the heat of the day, coming up to midday here in Vizag. No lights at this ground. So the players having to play through the heat of the day. And the players have to put up with the heat of the day in the markets. Well, things have quietened down out there in the markets a bit because it is so hot. Earlier in the day, that was a very crowded scene. But the general markets, the ladies with the pots on their heads, what are they generally carrying, Sonny?
Well, it's water. They're carrying water to their homes. Water supply sometimes is not adequate. So they're carrying water to their homes. You can see there's a lot of construction activity that takes place in Vizag.
I travelled to the ground, from the airport to the ground this morning with Ravi Shastri, and he was saying that in the next few years this is going to be one of the up-and-coming centres in India.
Yes, it is a fast developing town, no question about it. It's a port town, so there is plenty of scope for development, and you can see from the kind of construction activity that's going on.
Michael Bevan quickly through for a single. India in general economically doing very well at the moment, Sonny.
Yes, they are. The liberalisation policies have certainly made a big change in India. Plenty of development, and the middle class certainly feeling very good about it. They have the money to spend, the money to buy things.
Certainly a lot of money being made on the share market in India at the moment. We were talking earlier about how quick Michael Bevan is. You've probably seen a bit of him. Most of Australia's matches in recent times have been seen on television over here in India. You saw a couple of guys, well, most of the guys that I'm going to mention. Asif Iqbal was one that I thought in his day was the quickest. Javed Miandad was pretty hard to stop. Running between wickets, and Dean Jones, I guess, has got to be mentioned in any group. But Michael Bevan is up there with those guys.
I'm not too sure whether Stuart Law would be mentioned there, because he was actually strolling, and if the take had been clean, then Stuart Law, it would have been goodbye Stuart Law.
It's 248 for 4.
So, can you explain this interest-free thing to me?
Well, that just means you can get new tyres now and not pay a cent for 3 months. It's available on our entire range of tyres.
Oh. I'll have a couple of new tyres from a Trojan then.
Yeah, sounds like a fair swap to me.
Bowes interest-free terms. Drive away with 3 months to pay. Call 132381 for your nearest Bow Repairs store.
Mark Waugh equalling his highest score in one-day internationals with 130. It equalled his innings in Perth, played in the recent World Series competition. Also one that he played as an opener. 145 balls in that innings against Sri Lanka in Perth. 128 in this innings, so this was the faster innings, although the one in Perth against a better attack. Bevan just jogging between wickets and easily back for 3.
Yes, when you have a batsman like Bevan at the wicket, it is difficult to keep him quiet, mainly because he can run so quickly, exhort his batting partner to take those quick singles. That's a tremendous run rate, 5.81.
It's one of the reasons why Michael Bevan is such a good player at number 6. He bats well with the tail, and one of the reasons being he's running between wickets. It's very hard to stop him getting twos because he is so fast. So he just keeps hitting these twos. He controls the strike. He also has the ability to smack boundaries, as we saw in that game against the West Indies when Australia needed a 4 to win off the last ball. He came up with the shot down the ground off Roger Harper. Mark Taylor has said that he wants to keep Michael Bevan at 6. It is a luxury, but he does a terrific job for his country in that position.
Yes, I think what we've seen of him, he does seem to be a very sensible cricketer as well. A lot of players come in the final overs and say to themselves that, right, we've got to throw our bats at every delivery, but that can often lead to a dismissal. Michael Bevan seems to be the one who plays it very, very intelligently.
So many of the young Australian cricketers who are coming through the academy are very good at one-day cricket because one of the things to Rodney Marsh, he's done a lot of good things at the academy, but one of the important things, he organises a lot of tough cricket for them. They're playing against senior cricketers, good cricketers, and so they come through very well educated in the one-day game. Michael Bevan is a good example. Ricky Ponting, who didn't get a lot of runs today, is another good example. That's beautifully hit by Stuart Law and just out of reach. And on the bowling side, Glenn McGrath is another one who's well versed in the one-day game.
Well, the outfield must have contributed to that as well. Stuart Law making a little bit of room and hitting the ball over extra cover. This is a shot which is mainly due to the progress of the one-day game, and what a productive shot it can be. Asif Karim just hobbling back into the mid-off position. That's the trouble with diving a lot on hard outfields. A lot of the force is taken by the knees, and on this occasion I think he's done some damage to his knee. .258 for 4 as Stuart Law retains the strike.
For the first time, the furniture show for those in the know will be open to the public. The 1996 Queensland Furnishing Expo from Saturday 24th to Monday the 26th of February, with public access from 1 p.m. each day at the Brisbane Convention and Exhibition Centre.
Nervous times for the champ.
How are you feeling tonight? Probably worse than I did last night.
As the Army Reserve's best take charge of the rest.
Yell us an order.
As you were.
With a little help from Glenn.
Trust me.
7 o'clock Monday on 9 Sale of the Century.
There in the middle, which the players will appreciate. Australia 258 for 4 after 44. In the commentary position now, it's Richie Benaud and Tony Greig.
Thanks very much, Ian. Yes, this is a good score. Australia in tough conditions, very hot, humid out there. And having lost 2 wickets quickly, have really consolidated this innings. Got it back, right back on track, thanks to a very useful partnership between the War brothers. Yes, that partnership, the best ever by any team in the World Cup competition. 207 runs of 199 balls, and that got the ship right back on track. Up there now, Stuart Law and Michael Bevan. He's got that one away towards square leg. It's bouncing down towards the sweeper down there. They'll come back for the second.
Cover!
Rajiv Bali bowling his last over, and he bowled very well. He was responsible for 1 or 2 of the problems the Aussies had early on. He's bowled him! Well, he's done it again. He's been certainly one of the 2 best bowlers for the Kenyans, and obviously you're going to pick up wickets at the end of an innings. He tried to smash that one down the ground to mid-on, but missed it. That was
partly the bowler, partly the batsman. A little inside edge there. At least he got bat on it. That'll be small comfort as he goes down. It's 261 for 5.
The new limited edition Pulsar and Micra Solaire have just been released, and Nissan have found a way to make them go really, really fast. How? $2,800 worth of extra value, with free headlight covers, free floor mats, and best of all, free air conditioning. The new Micra Solaire and Pulsar Solaire. They've got free air conditioning and heaps of extras, so you'd better hurry. They're going fast.
Healy's the new batsman. Great strike rate he's got. Just the man to come in situations like this. So straight away, he's off the mark. That's his record. Just have a look at that. An average of 23, but he scores these runs very quickly. 86.32 runs per 100 balls. And that through all those matches is fantastic. Oh, and he's tripped over. Well, he really looks as if he's in a bit of trouble. Kareem, who hasn't finished his bowling yet, went for the ball, and he seemed to stub his toe. Either that or he badly pulled a muscle and went over, just simply dropped. He's hanging on to his knee, actually. See if we can pick up here what happened. They're rushing out to get to him.
Well, it looks like he might have caught his, I'd said spikes if I hadn't seen that he had rubbers on. It was just, well, now I wonder if it was that little extra white marking there. It looks soft enough there, but it was Kareem who went down a little earlier and had a bit of a knee problem as well. It's not going to be cramped, but we can have another look from a different angle.
Yes, it seemed to me that as he started to set off, he started to limp. It might have been just the turning. And you can see he then went down around about where the line is. And he went down in a big heap, I can tell you that. And they really are working on his knee. Apparently he has knee problems anyhow. I'm not too sure that twisting it and pushing it back like that is the order of the day.
Well, he's got more of a knee problem now if it's a legacy of something that's happened before. However, the odds are that he'll get up and the game will go on. That only came moments after Michael Bevan had tried to hoik one away through mid-wicket. One of those predetermined shots, just got an inside edge and back onto the stumps. We were saying a little earlier that with Law and Bevan and Healy to come, there's a good chance of the Australians notching a big total, if they got in, that was, when the War brothers were going. That partnership beat the previous best in a World Cup match. That was 195 between Gordon Greenidge and Larry Gomes, way back in 1983 at the small Worcester ground, the new road ground, and that was against Zimbabwe.
Well, they've congregated around the injured Asif Kareem. It really did seem to me that as he turned, well, he's got it pretty well bent. It seems that's what he thinks is the way to fix it. He's determined to stay out there, it seems. It's obviously pretty important that he bowls a few overs. They really are leaning on it.
If that's a legacy of cartilage trouble, then it's completely new treatment, I'd say. Now, that could be a knee guard that's coming out. New one, too.
Well, one way or the other, that knee seems to be loosening up.
Well, so would you, and so would I, if they're doing the same things to it there. But he is needed out there, and they'll make every effort to keep him there so that he can get through the remainder of the overs. That's Asif Kareem. It's bad luck for Kenya because they've worked very hard out there. They did well early on, picking up the wickets of Taylor and Ponting, and that was just for a handful of runs, 6 for each of the batsmen. And then the War Brothers got at them. I wouldn't say the War Brothers got at them early on because they were thrashing. Go.
Yes, they were 2 for 26 at one stage, and Karim seems to have recovered. They obviously know what works best for him. The Kenyan physio there really leaning on that knee joint of his. He gave it a fearful workout. Well, they've got him on his feet. How long he'll stay there for is another question.
I'd have been inclined to get on my feet too if I'd thought that was going to keep on happening. 266 for 5 now, and the Australians have got the run rate pushed up. And here's the last ball of the over.
Well, very wide, and the sweep will come into play again. So just 9 off the over. It's 267 for 5.
I'm feeling great, oh so cool. Yes I am, I'm feeling good.
What's hot at Retrovision? All the best buys on all the top brands. $100 off Sony's 51cm TV. A great price on this Samsung video player. Great sound with Sanyo CD radio cassette. And great value with Sony 68cm AV stereo TV. 29 days of real savings.
Retrovision. Buy anywhere else and you'll pay too much.
Feeling good.
So that's the story at the moment. Healy's had 1 ball, so he's keeping up his run rate. And Stuart Law's had 14 for 19, so he's going pretty well too. That's the overall run rate, nudging up towards 6 now. And they've got the total on to 267 for 5. 5 overs to go in this match.
The run rate has moved up smoothly from the halfway mark, the 25 over mark. It was 4.8 then. And it's just gone up and up. Nothing tremendously spectacular, but they've got a chance at 300.
That is a very tender delivery from Asif Kareen. He's the man who was down a minute ago. He's now into the attack. And literally really has shortened his run down. He just seemed to hobble up there. No real pivot. You couldn't blame him for that. Just watch this. He's just dobbed it there, and that could so easily have been a wicket for him.
Well, he got through to the keeper, and I just assumed Stuart Law wasn't out of his crease there. Might just have dragged.
Martin!
Healy again, settling for the 1. This, that first delivery must have been pretty close. This is the 1, right up there and very close to the stumps, right in the block hole. It's in the air, and it'll go down towards the wide mid-off boundary, and it's gone for 4. That's very good placement. It's an inside-out shot, they call it, and it was played wide enough of mid-off to beat him.
He's won the best around Australia with that stroke, just giving himself a fraction of room each time he plays it, and getting it away over extra cover. And it's not a hit, it's just a stroke.
It's a good stroke as well. Beautifully swept away all the way along the ground. Healy wants to. Law says no. Could have got back, I reckon, on that occasion.
Good chance of a second there. It's not a particularly small ground. It's not as big as the MCG. But there's enough room to pick up a second run on most occasions.
275 for 5. Yes, so...
Oh, we're so proud of Carla. her coach and a few members of our swimming club side, she could make it to the Olympics. And now Tip Top is behind her. She's got a real chance.
Tip Top Sunblist is Australia's favourite. Soft, fresh and delicious. Sunblist provides natural dietary fibre and complex carbohydrates, essential for growing athletes.
Tip Top's the one, good on your mum.
Thomas Adoyo, the bowler. 275 for 5. He's gone for 41 from 6 overs so far. And rest assured, they're not going to go easy on him now. This little period leading up to the close of the innings always produces that flurry of shots.
I'll be interested to see how Ian Healy approaches this. He's a clever cricketer. He'll have seen how necessary it is on this pitch to wait for the ball to come onto the bat rather than go chasing it. And he does favour that little chip shot rather than big hitting.
Oh, good catch. Well played. That's a very good catch. Big Nick went straight through to the keeper and he caught it beautifully. There's some dispute out there. The umpires are going to have a chat to each other. I thought that went straight in. We're right behind here. It may just have been a half volley, I don't know, but my reaction initially was he's got him. Law stayed out there and they've given it not out. Well, let's have another look. Keeper not feeling very happy about it. In fact, he's being consoled. Let's see if it carries. This is it. Big Nick. Here we go. Is it in the air? Does he catch it? Well, that's very difficult to see because the pitch slopes down. I think he caught that one without any shadow of doubt. Let's have another look from this angle. There it goes in the air, and yes, no trouble at all. Easily caught, and unfortunately too near the ground for the umpires to give it. He's got the benefit of the doubt. Interesting, that first replay showing how the slope of the ground really creates a situation where it looks as if the ball had actually gone to ground.
Well, Thomas. That was highlighted yesterday by the match referee Clive Lloyd, who called the attention of the umpires and the captains to the fact that there is that hill and then the valley, and that it is going to be difficult not only for the bowlers running in, but also for fielders and for the umpires adjudicating on catches. He's been shown to be right straight away.
There's certainly a big slope down there, and you could see there that it looked as if it bounced from that angle, but no doubt in my mind it went straight in. Have a look at this. There we are, and he's got him. No trouble at all. Yeah, very unfortunate that for Adoyo. He's been looking for a wicket, and of course it was a good catch as well for the keeper. He'll be disappointed. Benefit of the doubt to Stuart Law.
Well, groundsmen around the world will be looking at that and wondering why the pitch is still on that level. Because what generally happens is that as the pitch is top-dressed every summer, it builds up and up and up, as this one has. But when you look at it, you can see that it's never been levelled. And it's probably a good 9 inches up from the rest of the ground.
When played to extra cover, 1 more to the total, 6 runs from the over, 281 for 5.
Our factory is overstocked, so we must clear $2 million worth of our best lounges and sofas. Lawson sofa $189, Havana 2-seater $399, Montana sofa bed with matching 2-seater $589.
How can they do it?
Diana 3-piece lounge $799, our famous Caprice lounge $999.
Unbelievable!
That's right, we're overstocked, and you'll be the only winner when you buy from Furniture Direct during our $2 million sacrifice sale. Sale ends this Sunday now at Virginia, Springwood, McGregor and the Gold Coast, open 7 days.
So the left-arm orthodox spinner, Karim, continuing. A spare a thought for Kennedy Otieno. He really want to go away with catches to remember matches by, and that was his for sure.
Taking into account that the height of that pitch area, the pitch square, nowhere in the world the square leg umpire could have seen it. And the batsman too is up on the high bit, but he's actually standing up a bit taller.
Played it way through the offside field. They'll come back for the second as the sweeper gathers, and in comes a good flat throw. Just a little wide, though. So the Australians nudging their way towards 300 after this over. Just 2 to go.
This is a splendidly engineered situation by the Australians where all their batsmen have had a hit out there.
That's straight down the ground. It won't quite get to the fence because there's a fieldsman at mid-off. But once again, they'll get 2.
When Mark Waugh was looking distressed out there, we were putting forward the theory that he might throw it away at some stage so that all the way down to Healy could have an innings. They've been out of touch as far as match practice goes in recent times, and that's the way it's worked out.
Full toss.
Let's go, Thomas!
And nicely picked up by Thomas O'Doyo. There's the crowd beginning to chant for the 6 again. Short, pulled away down towards square leg, and it'll go for 4 as well. So down to the fence for 4. That's the end of the over. 290 for 5.
Healy on 11, Law on 31, 290 for 5 at the moment.
So just 2 overs to go now. They've nudged the run rate over 6. Well, that's got to be a wide. Shepherd, the umpire there, David Shepherd, very nearly got it. The sweep shot smashed at him, and he was a little bit late to react there. I thought he was going to stick his hand out and snaffle it for a second. Pretty relaxed customer.
Good fielder close in his day as well in the English county competition for Gloucestershire.
Straight to the wide mid-off fieldsman. Well, this place is famous for its mangoes and its cashew nuts. They export those from these parts. They also bring in a lot of crude oil, which is refined here. Fertilizer as well comes in huge, great amounts, spread up and down the coast along the Bay of Bengal. Boys, that's that little chip shot Richie Benaud was talking about, just flicking it over the top of the infield and right into the gap for 4. That's well played.
Best I ever saw it playing that shot satisfactorily and then brilliantly as the matches moved on was Glenn Turner, the New Zealander. He's a good, thoughtful cricketer. He worked out that was the way to do it. And Ian Healy is one, well, he won't have followed Glenn Turner as such, but he's worked it out for himself that that is the way to go. Has his individual style.
Yup is the call again as it's played to the fieldsman at wide mid-off. He's very deep, right on the circle here, not trying to save ones at all. So it's definitely a run almost every time the bat hits the ball. So they're going to go past 300 all right now. Good performance after a pretty ordinary start by the Aussies. We smashed that one away square on the offside again. They'll come back for 2. Will they? Yes. Back they come. In comes the throw. So 2 more. Batting lineup, as far as the Kenyans are concerned, is quite interesting. They've got 1 or 2 good players. Deepak Chudasima opens the batting with Kennedy Otieno. They want the hunt at the 300, and what's more, they want a 6. Steve Tokolo and then Morris Odumbe, their 2 best players, come in at 3 and 4. slower delivery, chipped down the ground for one, and that brings up the 300. That's the end of the over. 11 from that one. It's 301 for 5.
Nine's brilliant new police drama.
Some evil little person fed him animal drugs.
With the stories and the characters you'll grow to love.
Now you want to shove me out of his life and get away. It's just not going to happen.
Now at the regular time, 7:30 Monday, Water Rats on 9. In one of history's greatest airborne confrontations. A momentous cast in a story that's even greater.
Nation's going to fall in love with those boys.
Memphis Belle, Monday on Channel 9.
301 for 5 in conditions which are sticky, an outfield which is fast, and a pitch, well, it's in the air. This will be caught. Oh yes, he's got him. Easy. Well, that was a very nicely struck shot. Healy obviously having to go for everything. It was up there for a long time, long boundary down there. Edward Odumbe on the boundary, catching it absolutely, so easily out in front of him, around about waist high.
Yeah, he took it very nicely. He had the confidence about him. You just knew he was going to take it. Obviously doesn't miss very many. Ian Healy goes for 17 from just 11 balls faced, and it's 301 for 6.
I would like, if I may, to take you on a strange journey to the new Rocky Horror Show starring Marcus Graham.
Hello, Brisbane.
With Kim Wilson, Wilbur Wilde, Jo Beth Taylor, Glenn Butcher, Peter Rosethorn, Ron Reed, and myself. The all-new 21st Century Rocky Horror Show must close March 16.
Come up and see what's on the slab.
$301 for 6. This is the last over. Paul Rifle out there as a result of that big hit down to the long boundary by Ian Healy. Nicely taken. He's played 56 matches and can play some shots too. The Aussie tail-enders are required to come in often and keep this board ticking over. Again, he's going for that offside. In goes the throw, and it hits the stumps, and that's beautifully fielded. Stuart Law knew he couldn't get there, and he hit the stumps direct. Morris Odumbe, who's probably their best batsman, and who's no doubt one of their better fieldsmen, had very little to aim at, and what he had, he got right.
And Law was always going to take the chance there. He knew that it was either one or the ball hit the stumps, he was going to be run out. He's on his way. 35 from 30. That's a nice little pipe opener for him. 301 for 7. 49.2 overs gone.
So 2 wickets in quick succession here. First of all, Ian Healy trying to smash that one into the crowd over mid-wicket, and nicely taken. Just watch the catch here. In he comes, and that's easily taken. So that is the end of Ian Healy. And of course they took a single. Next ball, Stuart Law trying to get it over the offside field. Fielded, and then shy at the stumps. And whack, middle stump.
It was a good throw, excellent fielding, and the new batsman coming out now just for 4 balls, or perhaps only for 1 or 2 or 3. There's Shane Warne. Interesting to see how he bowls here. I have a feeling that Warne will have to use more side spin with his bowling here in India and Pakistan. He had a lot of overspin on the ball in Australia last year, and I don't think that'll work as well on these pitches. I think there'll be a lot more side spin. But he's at the non-striker's end now. Paul Rifle hasn't faced a ball. He's about to face one from Asif Karim, who, since he's had the knee problem, has become a star.
Perhaps there's something in this severe leg treatment that the Kenyans have got going out there. Yes, well, I think it's more to do with the fact that they really are having a go. Let's see what they're going to do now. 4 balls to go. And that one played nicely straight down the ground. He's still limping. Kasim, they'll come back for the second here. Warren's on his way. In comes the throw. Oh, that'll be very close. And Warren back for 2 with 3 balls to go. The Australians have moved on to 303 for 7. And you can see that he's still in a bit of agony.
Wasn't far off running out Rifle as well, because Rifle was loafing. Warren has come back for the second, charging through, and Rifle has loafed now. And suddenly...
they're pushing away for 1 there, so Warren is going to get to face. 2 balls to go. 304 for 7 after having lost 2 wickets for 26.
Centre.
So, Warren having a look down towards square leg. They've got a man at square leg, a man just behind as well. And that's where he was going to try and hit it, up the ground at square leg. But he didn't make contact that time. So, just 1 ball to go. Where can he hit it? I think, again, he's having a look at that area down at square leg. They're bringing the fieldsman just a little squarer. So, can Warren finish this off with a 6? Straight onto the pad. That is the end of the over, and indeed the end of the innings.